instant success, and Diamonds Direct was born. Today, Diamonds Direct provides that extraordinary value to people all over America, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best prices, period. Diamonds Direct, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history, rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. Senate picks up the pace. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. More Trump nominees get a green light heading to the full Senate, including South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be Homeland Security Secretary.
She was favorably reported out of her committee last night with a bipartisan vote, which means that a confirmation vote could be coming shortly for her. Defense pick Pete Hegseth also favorably voted out of committee. This one, though, was a party line vote. No Democrats voted for him. OMB nominee, CIA nominee John Ratcliffe also both favorably reported out their committees.
Fox's Aisha Hasni on Capitol Hill. Ratcliffe could get a confirmation vote later today. Earlier today, Marco Rubio was sworn in as Secretary of State. Lawsuits are piling up against President Trump's executive order aimed at ending birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to parents who are not in the country legally. New Jersey's Attorney General says he's leading a multi-state challenge. The American Civil Liberties Union already announced a lawsuit. Two of the highest profile defendants in the 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol are out of prison after clemency from the president.
Among those freed as part of President Trump's sweeping pardons to more than 1,500 January 6 defendants, former Proud Boys extremist group leader Enrique Tarrio, who got 22 years for seditious conspiracy for his role in planning the attack. Also, Stuart Rhodes, former leader of the Oath Keepers militia.
President Trump did the right thing by letting these guys out and pardoning them because they did not get a fair trial.
Rhodes found guilty of plotting to use force against Congress to prevent the election certification, also accused of helping to stockpile firearms at a hotel in Virginia. He was one of 14 people released early without a full pardon, meaning they'll continue to face some restrictions. Critics saying the pardons endorse attacks on democracy.
Fox's Lillian Wu just getting word the last surviving member of the band has died. Keyboardist Garth Hudson was 87. America is listening to Fox News.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Big time bundle up Arctic air. Lots of sunshine out there, but only 12 for the high today. The wind chill -10. So extra care out there this afternoon. Tonight, some clouds around 12 for the overnight low. Little rise in temperature after midnight. Wednesday, partly sunny, breezy, cold start. 35 Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, clouds, a couple of snow flurries, and 36. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I ended up going to a dentist, and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brooks Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to brooksnightguard.com and enter the code BRUX91. That's BRUX91.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I say this without any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He is not, obviously, has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it. And it's been very, very concerning to me over the last, year and a half since I've had this position.
Can you tell us a story when you say personal observation? What kind
well,
of thing
I
did you see?
it's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked. I became Speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on. And I started requesting a meeting with the president because I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill Press Corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the Speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the Speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably the 3rd week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the Speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Would y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall, and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the commander-in-chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office, right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard, and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, you know, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, you know. And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, like, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know.
That is Speaker Mike Johnson speaking to Barry Weiss in her outlet where she is doing wonderful reporting and getting to the bottom of a lot of stories that traditional media won't cover. And the reason why I'm playing this, why, Annie, on the first full day of Donald Trump's second term, are we talking about Joe Biden? And that conversation there was January of 2024, according to the timeline that the speaker gave, when he was discussing this conversation that took place in the Oval Office that he had to beg for as the Speaker of the House to speak to the President of the United States. Why is it that we're playing that clip? Well, I want to ask you something. If you paid attention yesterday to the events of the day, of course, we covered it here live on 97.1 FM Talk, and it's a real honor and a pleasure to be able to share these monumental historical moments with you. And we're grateful that you're here with us on the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Did you listen to later in the day? Did you listen to later in the evening? Donald Trump react while he was signing executive order after executive order after executive proclamation. He's got the press pool surrounding the beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office. He's got his right-hand man standing there, Will Scharf, handing him each of these orders, kind of setting the table for the room like this is an order on declaring an emergency on our southern border. And Donald Trump, with every one of them, would go, oh, that's a good one, or that's a big one. He was reacting to all of these as they were being handed to him to sign into his executive action. And when it came to each of these individual signings, you'd have Will Scharf, who was very diligently trying to make sure that he could, just a little bit prep the president on, okay, now you're going to sign this one, and now you're going to sign this one. Will Scharf was there at the Capitol right after the inauguration doing this. He was in the Capital One Arena at the table that they had with the presidential seal where he was signing more executive orders in front of the audience there. And then, of course, he was in the Oval Office with the press pool who was invited in to experience this. Donald Trump signing each one consecutively while taking a pepper of questions from the media that were asking him about everything and anything. It was an open conversation from the man who is in the highest governmental elected position in our country and arguably the world, answering whatever it is that the press wanted to throw at him. And in the midst of those questions, out came the conversation surrounding Joe Biden and Donald Trump's ride to the inauguration. They leave the White House together, they get in the same limo, and they go to the rotunda where the inauguration, the oath of office, would take place. And the question was asked of Donald Trump, did you talk about the pardons? And Donald Trump's reaction in that moment was, no, he didn't tell me. And then he went on to talk about how it's a shame and a precedent that is a frightening one for the Biden family to set, for the Biden administration, for the presidency. It's a dangerous thing that he did to pardon these family members and to do it in the way that he did. Blanket pardon, goes back 10 years and 1 month. He didn't tell Donald Trump any of that. And they didn't announce that it had happened until Donald Trump was delivering his inauguration speech. And I can't shake the feeling. I just want to know, and maybe we'll never know, but maybe some good journalist will look into it. This specifically, but also in a much broader sense. Does Joe Biden know that he pardoned his family? Just think about that for a second. If a year ago, Mike Johnson is sitting in a highly protected room surrounded by his staffers who are there to absorb whatever it is that Mike Johnson might throw at him, of course, the opposing party to the person who is the president of the United States. You've got a Republican speaker and a Democrat president. Isn't it a worthy question that deserves an answer? To know about Joe Biden's pardons that he signed without any pomp and circumstance, without any answering to the press, in the very, very last second of his presidency, where it did not come up in the limousine on the way to, on the beast, I suppose, on the way to the oath of office and the peaceful transition of power. Isn't it a fair question to ask? Did President Joe Biden know that he did that? That might seem like an absurd question to ask, but I actually think that it's a leading question among a whole host of things. That if Mike Johnson, in a meeting a year ago with Joe Biden, did not know that he paused LNG exports, was challenged on it. Yes, you did, sir. No, I did not. Joe Biden reiterated to Mike Johnson what he thought was happening with the action that was taken. A year ago, Joe Biden did not know what his presidency was doing with the power of his own executive action. Many of the things that have taken place in the last couple weeks, in the waning days of the Biden administration, need to be investigated. Because, yes, we have some pardons here for family members. Adam Schiff, he squeaked one out, even though, you listen to Adam Schiff. He's like, I don't know why anybody who's innocent would want a preemptive pardon, a blanket pardon. Who wants that? Well, I don't know, Adam Schiff. Why don't you tell us? But we need to start looking deeper into what happened in the last 4 years. And I'm very, very pumped to be talking about the things that are even taking place right now in our country, the things that Donald Trump has signed over with his executive pen yesterday and will continue to do today. My understanding is at 3 p.m. today, we'll turn it over to the Mark Reardon Show, and there's supposed to be a transformative executive action, I believe, that has to do with infrastructure, a huge investment that is going to be made by this administration. And that announcement is to be made at 3 p.m. today. Schedules change, but that's the current timing on that. We know that Donald Trump has already aggressively pursued securing our southern border. We know that ICE is ready to work city to city to make sure that our cities can be made safe again, even in the face of the defiant Democrat-run mayors and governors of these blue states who choose to harbor illegal aliens over their own citizens to protect people who came here in the shadows over the people who live here and fund their very jobs. More executive action from Donald Trump to do, basic things like, say, men can't beat up women in women's sports any longer, that we are going to acknowledge men and women. Common sense things like that. Yesterday was a day full of celebration. I could not stop smiling. I could not stop watching Elon Musk's X. That probably was one of the leading reasons why we were able to celebrate a day like that, because we got our voice back. Watching video after video of people celebrating, of all walks of life, of diverse backgrounds in every possible way. The idea that there is some common sense that is back at the helm. Yesterday was a day of great celebration. But we have many questions to ask that deserve answers that we are now in a position to get answers from for the first time in a very long time. It is amazing to see. This is a word that was shared to me by a friend. Elon Musk goes in his Elon Musk way onto a stage and addresses a crowd full of people at Capital One Arena. And he's doing his goofy Elon Musk approach to the podium. He's jumping up and down. Like, if you don't know what Elon Musk looks like in a scenario, in a situation like this, you're kind of like, whoa, what's he doing? He's super pumped. Fist bumping in the air, pumping his fists, making sure that everybody feels his energy. And he makes a gesture and he says, my heart. And then he puts his hand over his heart. And then he extends his hand out to the audience and says, is with all of you. Does it mimic a Nazi salute? I mean, in gesture, possibly. Is there any bit of Elon Musk that resembles fascist Nazism? No. And I saw PBS NewsHour or whatever. It's at NewsHour on X. I was watching Twitter, X, all day yesterday, and I see this post up, and they're like, Elon Musk makes a fascist salute. And it's like, you know what? We're not doing this crap anymore. Sit down, PBS, and while you're at it, give the taxpayers back the money that you're taking from them. Is Elon Musk a fascist Nazi? Because if he's not, sit down and shut the hole in your face. We're not doing this any longer. You can't just snipe one tiny little moment out of somebody's life and try to ruin somebody, cancel somebody for your own pathetic little cancel culture cause. We're not doing that anymore. We are free from that. We have been liberated from this oppressive, leftist, media-driven, talking head-driven way of saying we're in charge and we're going to tell you who's okay and who's not, and everybody is fair game every single day. If you cross us, we will ruin you. It's over. It's done. We are free from it. And so many people yesterday that were even on the other side of the aisle were like, PBS, this isn't it. This is not the moment. We're not doing this. And we're not doing it anymore. When people are racist, make sure that you confront the racism and put it in its place. But you don't have to go digging for it. You don't have to go looking for it. And if you're somebody who is trying to throw a nasty word like that at somebody so you can make some sort of political point out of it, we need to acknowledge today, in this new America First common sense era that we have entered, we need to look at those people who are trying to use and impose racial division on America and point at them and make sure they know they are the racists. You're trying to use racial division for some sort of political point? Well, you're the racist, and we're done with you. There are good people and there are bad people. All the good people don't look alike. All the bad people don't look alike. Let's get back to the idea of calling it like it is, not worrying about saying what is real and true and offending the people on the other side of that conversation. If it's real and true, don't get mad at me. You can get mad at the truth. Do something to try to evolve it and change it in a way that makes the outcome be a little bit different. But we are back into the world of common sense, of open discussion, and it's led by one man, Donald Trump. And it is so good to be back. When we come back, we're going to speak with Congressman Mike Bost. We're going to talk about yesterday. We're going to talk about the House super tiny slim majority. Congressman Bost of Illinois' 12th District is going to join us and give us the latest on what's going on in this very fresh and new Washington, D.C. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So when you reach out to the Dittamore Group, you can go online to thedittamoregroup.com, DITTAMORE group.com. You are going to be working with the realtors who are going to get the job done for you with a smile on their face and with energy in their actions. They are the #1 team in the #1 office in the Metro East. Thedittamoregroup.com. You can reach them directly right now talking about your home sale. If you're looking to purchase a home in the area, you can call them at 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. They have a great team. Tammy, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha, great friends and of the show, and we're so excited to be working with them. The energy they're going to bring behind your real estate transaction is going to make you be an ambassador for them. Oh, you're selling your house? You need to talk to the Dittamore Group. They're going to get the job done. They're not #1 for nothing. They have an extensive knowledge of the market. They work in Illinois and Missouri with 50-plus years of experience. 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. TheDittamoreGroup.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Level up the comfort of your home this winter with either free attic insulation or an air scrubber. With a new HVAC system installation from Air Comfort Service. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
It is day one of the second Trump administration. Donald Trump has been president for a grand total of 11 hours, and he wasted no time imposing his will on American government.
When will MSNBC and Stephanie Ruhle understand that the way that republic that you can have, if you can keep it, works by telling the people what you want to do? They get to choose to vote for you. They vote for you, and then you realize that the person who gets elected, that will is the will of the people. Well, it appears as though Stephanie Ruhle has not learned that yet. Let's get to our friend Congressman Mike Bost back with us on the Annie Frey Show, United States Congressman for Illinois' 12th District. Congressman, tell us about yesterday. What's it like in Washington, D.C.?
Annie, it is wonderful. It is it's yesterday and then carrying on into today. Think about this. Right after him giving his speech where we were in the rotunda, and all the things he claimed he was going to do, he started signing executive orders to get those things done. Over 200 of them, and they actually are a lot of them common sense things to deal with the broken immigration system. Signing order ending birthright citizenship. He's probably going to get challenged on that one because it's about a constitutional issue. Ending Biden's catch and release policies, can't challenge that. He is going to get that done, go back to where it was. Declaring migrant gangs like MS-13 foreign terrorists. And what does that do? That allows us to actually go to the root of the problem. MS-13, though they have cells here and the problems they're causing, we can actually go and if terrorism is identified, we can go into a foreign country and wipe them out, according to and get them at the root of the problem. Declaring the border crisis a national emergency. What that does is allows the military to go in to help secure it. It's more of an administrative and manpower issue. Understand ICE will still be ICE. Border Patrol agents will still be Border Patrol agents. But until we send a clear message to remain in Mexico, on the southern border, but yesterday we had a problem on the northern border that was pretty bad, but we knew that that's coming up too. So all of our borders are trying to get it on track. Important steps like getting the economy back on track. Also, in the terms that your listeners will understand as well as I, drill, baby, drill, become energy independent. And the good thing is go back to selling our reserve, our to bring those prices down. To develop those markets is go back into Europe, on the Western Europe side of our allies, and sell them natural gas, and then that cuts the stream off to Russia being able to sell it. Our gas is better than theirs, and we know it, and so does European countries. They'll be glad to see that come back. All of these things, and I'm going to tell you this, and I will admit this. My staff director is going through these 200 executive orders, and to be honest, I will tell you that we have not got through all of them yet. So that was a lot of things that happened, all between parades and balls and bouncing from ball to ball and all the different ceremonies. To tell you the truth, I've never seen very few people I've ever seen in life that have this energy, let alone any president that I've ever known.
Yeah, it was wild to take in. And Congressman, I'll tell you, we were watching some of this stuff last night, and my 12-year-old daughter was watching as I was taking in him sitting at in the Oval Office signing those executive actions, the press all in there. And she goes, my daughter says to me, is he just answering questions from the media while he signs these executive orders? And I said, yeah.
Yep,
and
that's what he does.
She goes, can he do that? I mean, 12-year-old's never seen anything like this before, which is a little bit of an indictment on the former president and the way he handled his business.
Well, let me tell you this about his first time as I'm talking about Trump's first time as president. The first time I was on Air Force One with him, and you're in the plane, but then if he wants to meet with you, he'll call you back. And this was a smaller Air Force One. A lot of people don't realize there's two of them, and at any rate, but he has his desk, and he has one television behind him, one television in front of him. He's talking to you and working on stuff, and he was actually able to watch both TVs at the same time, thinking about them, talking to me, because he would stop his information. Matter of fact, one of the people that showed up on TV at the time was Sean Duffy, who was then still an elected member of Congress, and he looks up and goes, "Hey, I like that guy. He's a really good guy." He said, and all of a sudden he moves his hands up and down like you'd be climbing a pole. He's one of those. I said, he's a lumberjack. He said, yeah, that's what he is. And then he goes right back into the conversation where he and I were having before, never missed a beat. So he's a unique personality in that respect. But you would think, okay, it's 4 years later, maybe that slowed down. I think it's speeded up.
Man, you can tell that he was ready to go, and then just taking in the different events of the evening. You were talking about bouncing from event to event to event. I have to say that I've never seen him look so happy before. I mean, of course, you win the presidency, especially in the fashion that he did, you'd be happy about it. But he looks genuinely joyful.
Yes, because his passion is not, and I know the naysayers, the Trump haters, blah blah blah. At any rate, the reality is, it truly is about what he can accomplish for the nation, not about what he's going to accomplish for Donald Trump. Now, does he like the fact that it's Donald Trump doing it? Sure he does. But his focus is on, how do we make it better? How do we make it greater? How do we bring the economy back? How do we make people have the opportunities that this American dream offers and aggressively allow that to happen? How do we keep our streets safe? How do we keep our borders secure? How do we make our enemies fear us and our allies trust us again? He's there.
We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost, the representative from Illinois' 12th District. He's also the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. Congressman, when it comes to Joe Biden's final actions leaving office, his pardoning of his family, the likes of Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney and a few others, are Democrats on Capitol Hill, are they like, well, we understand why he did that? Do Biden's actions affect the Democratic Party that's still in operation, even though he's gone?
Yeah, some it affects in the fact that they see it as, oh, now we got to try to defend that. Others haven't really paid attention, I don't think. They're still arguing among themselves on what caused the loss of the election. And I can tell you what caused the loss of the election, because some of their reaction to the things the president did actually show that they haven't got it yet. that the American people spoke. They want a secure border. They want energy independence. They want safe streets. They don't want illegals coming in and having crime and invading the country. They want to make sure that we're putting America first, that we're growing the nation, and that we're making sure that our kids are safe. They don't understand that we don't want people, men playing in women's sports. And you know, Annie, I got a story I got to tell you, because I told it in a couple speeches yesterday. So the other day we passed the bill that dealt with that issue, the women playing in men's sports, and we spent that over the Senate. They're probably going to move it pretty quickly. The president's going to sign it. If we want someone, if one of my grandchildren or even someone else is under the age of 12 years old and as a member of Congress, I want to bring them on the floor, I can do that. And then when they're there, we normally take and a bunch of us stand around our voting boxes, and not that they're going to vote how we want, but we let them put the card in and press the button.
Uh-huh.
Well, one of the guys had his grandchild there that was 6 years old, and the grandchild asked, "What are we voting on?" And he said, "Well, we're voting to stop boys from playing in girls' sports." He said, "Who would vote against that?" Now he's put the card in and he's voting because different guys are coming up. Well, a Democrat had come in on the Republican side of the aisle, handed him the card and said, "You can vote mine now." And he started to press green, and he said, No, I want to be a red on that. And this 6-year-old turned around and said, "Why would you want to be a red on that?"
Oh, man.
From the mouths of babes.
Amen to that.
I mean,
if they can get it, good grief.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are scratching their heads about the Democratic Party. I guess it's kind of interesting to hear that so are the Democrats that are in the Democratic Party to an extent. A Democrat that you and I both suffer under here, the governor of the state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, is bashing President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship for children of illegal immigrants. He said, "That's unconstitutional. We will not follow an unconstitutional order." What side of history here is J.B. Pritzker going to fall on?
Well, first off, one thing is for sure, that is in the 14th Amendment, and that's what he's quoting. But you have to remember why the 14th Amendment was written. Now, I don't know whether the president's executive order will hold up, but I do agree that it was never written for the intent and the extent that what we're doing right now. The idea and intent of the 14th Amendment was passed along with, I think, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th, which all had to deal with the fact that we had free men, those slaves that had been free. And the fear was that certain states in the South would not recognize those people as citizens. So that's why it was written, not knowing that it would make it to where people would come to this nation who are not citizens and deliver their children, and then automatically would make them citizens. So but that's a bigger issue to deal with. But, you know, I mean, and many states' attorney generals will probably file against it, but it sends a clear message that maybe it's a debate we should have in the fact that, but now remember this, Annie, to change that would require a constitutional amendment. Now, let me explain this, that, you know, we want to make sure that understand why it was written. And even I think people in our black communities, African-American communities, know and understand that why it was written. And they're watching now so many people coming in, taking away the benefits that they might have if they have a need where they've paid taxes from somebody who's not even a citizen of this country, but their child is born here and now all of a sudden they are. So that's a bigger issue to be discussed. But for him to say, "Hey, we're just not doing it," I think the more concern that I have about the things he said he's not doing is the fact that we have all these gangs and criminals that have come across, and he's still to remain a sanctuary city.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem as though J.B. Pritzker's priority are the people who are paying the taxes, who are citizens of this state. And if you look around, especially in Chicago, boy, they've got a lot of problems up there. They prioritize all the wrong things, and they, of course, then get all the wrong results.
Right. And I don't believe it even is the citizens that prioritize the wrong thing. It's just the politicians they keep electing. So, and they've been voting Democrats so long that they don't realize you can change that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what J.B. Pritzker does in the next couple of years. Of course, there are no term limits for governor in the state of Illinois.
No,
I think he wants to be president, though. So we'll give him to the rest of the country.
Well, good luck with that, because I think that he's not keeping up with the changing of this United States. Because I'm going to tell you, you were not going to be able to, I don't think, in the years to come, and I may be wrong, something might happen. You're not going to reelect a radical Democrat. Maybe if something really goes awry, because I've watched it happen over the years. But right now we're headed in the right direction, and you see the swinging back of the to more traditional family values. And as I said in a speech I think yesterday, step away from the insanity and get back to governing in the right set of mind and common sense.
Yeah. It's good to be back. Congressman Bost, I know how we feel here. I can only imagine what it's like to be there and be a part of the action, and we want to stay connected with you. Have fun, but also get down to that business and get the things done that the American people want to have done.
We started early this morning. They already had the hearings for Doug Collins, who was Secretary of the Secretary of the VA. We're looking forward to moving forward with that. We have been busy here just lining things up where we can lay those things down. I spent time in the chair this morning. I'll spend time in the chair this afternoon, making sure we're moving things across the finish line.
We know you will. Congressman Bost, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, have a great day.
You as well. Bye-bye. Hard not to have a great day these days. Oh, good to talk to him. That's an adorable story. I should have asked who the congressman was. I debated what congressman went over and handed a 6-year-old something to vote, knowing full well that it would be in the contrast of what their grandparent brought them onto the floor. Like, who? Why would you do that? And then you get put in your place by a 6-year-old. That's fantastic. Our YouTube poll for today. Very curious what you all think about the indoor inauguration. So yesterday we watched the oath of office haphazardly administered by Chief Roberts. What was he doing? I need to know the details behind that, because he really kind of blew it for President Trump and for his family, Melania, with the Bibles, like scooching up at the end and standing over Donald Trump's behind kind of his left shoulder. The whole family was up there pretty much by the time the oath had been completed. But aside from that, having everybody packed into the rotunda, being able to observe all the different things with beautiful camera shots. The production value of being able to observe this from home was fantastic. The going room to room at the nation's capital, being able to see inside these beautiful buildings, Emancipation Hall, among some of these extra rooms in the Capitol that you could look into where he sat down and signed some of these executive orders, then going to the Capital One Arena. That's a whole different type of vibe over there. And then back to the Oval Office to sign more executive orders. Do you like the indoor inauguration? I mean, boy, it would be unusual to move more into these kinds of events, but the security level is dramatically improved. The ability to protect the people, the president, the families, the attendees, all incredibly affected by doing it indoors. So I'm going to ask the question, should we do future inaugurations indoors? Yes or no? Love to know what you think about it. I'd be curious if any of you have ever been to an inauguration. I haven't, so I've never experienced the outdoor version of it. But if it's 10 degrees in Washington, D.C. in January, wouldn't you want to kind of get indoors instead? I'm thinking you might. Maybe not. Let us know what you think. Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. You can watch us there and stream us there, but you can also download the Odyssey app. Take the whole station with you anywhere you go in crystal clear connection. AUDACY. Download that. Follow the Annie Frey Show there. 97.1 FM Talk. We'd love to have you. When we come back, we've got Ethan in for Wiggins America. We're going to talk about all the celebrities that were involved in Inauguration Day. Do you know all of them? Maybe you might have missed one. Ethan will tell us when we come back. Don't go away.
Just close your eyes. Let's pretend we're dancing in the street in Barcelona.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X @AnnieFrey Show.
RulerFoods.com. If you're shopping for groceries right now, you need to make sure that Ruler Foods is on your list of places to go to cross the things off of that grocery list. You can save on healthy foods right now at Ruler Foods. This is probably helpful. A lot of people making some January commitments, and might as well add that saving money while you're at it. If you want to start your healthier new year with Simple Truth at Ruler Foods, you can now save 10% or more off Ruler Foods everyday low prices. For instance, Simple Truth organic frozen vegetables, $1.59. Simple Truth organic frozen fruit, or Simple Truth vanilla almond milk, a half gallon, $2.15. Simple Truth organic salad mix, $2.19. Or Simple Truth vapor distilled water, a 24-pack, $4.89. Save on your groceries with Ruler Foods. They are located all across the bi-state region. You can go to rulerfoods.com, type in your zip code, and find the one that's most conveniently located towards you. You can also schedule a delivery at rulerfoods.com.
Wow, this year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. You know, like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Well, now the timing is better, but you still have questions, right? Hey, Mark Cox here from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Liu for years now. Why? Because Gloria Liu is St. Louis real estate expert, and if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know her like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met her clients. In fact, I'm also a client. She's different than any other realtor, and if you need help selling your home for the most money, you need to do what I did. Call Gloria Liu. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, the Central West End, you must give Gloria Liu a call. Take it from me and call my friend Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This new pet-friendly facility offers state-of-the-art senior living with spacious apartments and amenities like granite countertops, stainless appliances, on-site PT, and more. Schedule a visit today at npseniorliving.com. npseniorliving.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: should future inaugurations be held indoors? Yes or no? Yesterday's inauguration proceedings popped this question up. We want to know what you think. I have thoughts on this. I'm sure Ethan has thoughts on it. Annie shared her thoughts just a little bit ago. We want to know what you think. So jump on Annie's YouTube page, youtube.com/@AnnieFrey, Frey, and vote. And once you vote, leave a comment, and we might read your comment on the air. The time is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. When it's chilly, there's nothing dreamier than coming home. Unless your furnace is on the fritz and your home is less than cozy. No worries. Just call the Fix It Right guys at Jerry Kelly. They're fast, they're friendly, and they do have it going on. Whether it's a minor mend or a full install, they'll do it quick and do it right. For a consistently cozier home, call Jerry Kelly, 8A to 8P, 7 dreamy days of the week, or at
JerryKelly.com. We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Wiggins! Oh!
Wiggins! Well, Ethan in for Ryan Wiggins today. Ryan will be back tomorrow. What do you got for us?
Well, Annie Frey, if you weren't aware, there was an inauguration yesterday.
Keenly aware.
We have a new president. His name's Donald Trump.
Woohoo!
He was also the 45th president, and he's now the 47th president of the United States. And, well, we've heard some stuff about some celebrities now all of a sudden liking him. Or I guess I should say being more public about liking him. Because that really wasn't a thing from 2016 to 2020.
Not so much, no.
No, it wasn't. And there were a lot of big names that were associated with not only yesterday's inaugural events, but also even for the rally that was held the day before in Washington, D.C. to kind of get everyone excited for the inauguration day, as if people needed that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to go ahead and go through some of these names because, there was a lot of information that was coming out yesterday, and I'm here to give you the important, hard-hitting news about the celebrities that were involved. There's policies good and all, but we need to know
Who is there?
The rich, famous, pretty people that have good voices. Who out there was supporting Donald Trump? Yeah, you would say that that's a version of supporting Donald Trump, right?
Supporting. You're not making a statement against Trump. It was important for people, it seems, prior to, at some point, honestly, it might just be prior to the assassination attempt, I think was the real turning point for a lot of people. Donald Trump talked about how after he took the bullet in his ear, he was getting phone calls from people you wouldn't expect. Like The Rock was one of them. Like,
really?
Yeah, called him and wanted to talk to him, just say, I'm so happy that you're okay. And like just lending support. It used to not be enough to not say anything. Well, I would say you used to not say anything. Celebrities would stick to what they were good at, and it wasn't politics. And then I really think with the dawn of social media and the constant access to information that people had, people found it, and I think politicians worked it into existence. You had to be on the record all the time.
At minimum, if it's not pro-Trump, it's pro-America. It's
Yes.
showing a united front.
Which is enough.
Coming together and celebrating, I guess, the optimism that a large majority of the country is feeling right now.
Yeah.
So you know what? I respect the heck out of anyone that was involved in any of these events, regardless of your political affiliation or feelings, no matter what. So let's get into some of the names. So let's go ahead and let's start with the actual the main inauguration event, which was at the Capitol Rotunda. National anthem was performed by Christopher Macchio, who is an opera tenor, for those that don't know. And I thought that I found some information as to how him and Trump, their relationship started, because now they're actually good friends. And Macchio actually first entered Trump's orbit, you could say, 9 years ago when he was asked last minute to fill in for a New Year's Eve celebration that Trump was hosting. He was such a hit that night that Rod Stewart, who was at that gala, asked Macchio to perform at his 70th birthday party. Macchio would also end up performing at the White House memorial service in 2020 for Trump's brother Robert, and that's kind of some of the steps as to how that relationship really picked up. It was just a few weeks ago. It may have been at an event that Trump was hosting, or a rally that Macchio was there, and he said, "I'll see you in a few weeks." Trump said that to him, and Macchio didn't know what he was referring to.
Yeah.
He ended up asking him to perform, and he said there was no one else he would rather have performing the national anthem than him.
That's very cool.
Very cool. I think the one that stole the show yesterday, though, was our one and only Carrie Underwood.
Let's listen. We got to listen to
go
it.
for it. Why not?
Yeah, let's listen to it because it was so stunning. The music didn't play when it was supposed to, and it's one of those moments as a performer. I mean, we deal with technical difficulties all of the time here on this show. It's just the nature of the business. Everything we do is technical. And she took the moment and she ran with it, and it was perfect.
You know the words, help me out here. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Oh, that's so good.
So good.
Every time I think of it, I'm like, I'm going to go listen to it real quick.
When I first heard it yesterday, and I'm not going to lie, it hasn't just been the first time, but every single time, but that first time I heard it, when you hear the choir in the background,
Mm-hmm.
picking up the harmony deeper into the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. There's something about that. I get goosebumps.
I was
get goosebumps listening
saying
to it.
off the air yesterday that I played 4 sports through my senior year of high school. My sophomore year, I went to Edwardsville High School for 1 year, and
Go Tigers.
yeah, go Tigers. When I was there, I tried out for concert choir, which was a class you could take, and I made concert choir. But of all of the athletic things that I ever participated in, when you're singing in a concert choir full of very qualified people and your voice melts into the choir voice, it's transcendent. There's something so amazing of being able to participate in something like that. I'm so glad that I was able to. It was just a wonderful program to be involved in. And listening to her lead that, and then, I mean, it's really such a beautiful song. To me, it was the right song for the right time, where all of these people were singing about brotherhood and this beautiful country we live in, and her voice is just perfect.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing.
Right. And there are actually some rumors going around that she wasn't a fan of how it all played out. But you know what? I mean, regardless of how she felt,
there's not much else she could have done.
She was a pro's pro in how she handled it.
Yeah.
You know, played it very cool. When, you know, in a moment like that, you're standing next to, she's done a lot of big things. That was probably the most important room she's ever been in her life. And she played it as cool as can be, and it was phenomenal. A very impactful moment in yesterday's ceremonies, and just a lot of those moments. Okay, rapid fire time. Celebrities that were at the inauguration. The Paul brothers, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, both social media influencers, boxers. Conor McGregor, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Theo Vaughn, the comedian, fell out of his chair.
Did you know that the Paul brothers rigged his chair?
You know, I saw a, what are they called? The Twitter, the things under it. The
trending?
No, the fact check thing.
Oh yeah.
I saw
community
one that
notes.
Community notes. I saw one that said that the Paul brothers actually did that to him. So
they did. He was set up by it.
So double Republican win there. Lee Greenwood performed "God Bless the USA." Dana White, the CEO and president of the UFC. Joe Rogan, of course, host of the Joe Rogan podcast. Danica Patrick, the first female NASCAR driver. She's been a huge advocate for Trump. I believe she has a podcast is where she's been pretty publicly spoken about that. Of course, we all know Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg were there.
Bezos' wife.
Bezos' wife was also very clearly there. Elon Musk, we all know, of course.
You said Mark
he was
Zuckerberg,
there.
right?
I did say Mark Zuckerberg.
Jeff
Mark
Bezos'
Zuckerberg
wife.
was there.
Hey, I got a question, though. You know, Congress wasn't allowed to bring spouses.
Really?
The people who were in the room, there was enough room. Why was she there?
That's a good question.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I guess just maybe power gets you those kinds of things, Annie. I don't know.
Well,
or money.
That could be too.
Well, other people who were very wealthy didn't have. I mean, it wasn't money.
Listen, there were also a lot of balls going on yesterday too.
Dances.
Yeah, those kind of balls. So, performers at the different inauguration balls. Lee Greenwood performed, as mentioned again. Rascal Flatts performed at the Commander-in-Chief ball, as well as Parker McCollum. Gavin DeGraw headlined the Starlight Ball. Jason Aldean was at the Liberty Inaugural Ball, as well as Billy Ray Cyrus.
Cyrus.
What did I say?
Silas.
Yeah, Silas. Billy Ray Cyrus.
He probably wishes his name was Billy Ray Cyrus.
I don't know
today.
what planet that guy was on. You just have to go watch it for
That's what
yourself.
People are saying.
St. Louis legend Nelly performed.
Yes.
Country Grammar, Ride With Me. And
Air Force Ones? Did he not do Air Force Ones? I don't know.
Hot in Here. That was the other one that he did that I heard.
Yeah.
So, love seeing St. Louis represent as well.
We're going to talk about Nelly in the 2 o'clock hour.
Okay.
I've got all that stuff listed from yesterday, and it wasn't the time.
Sum it up, loaded day with celebrities supporting Donald Trump yesterday.
Yeah, and the events. And America, which is okay once again. Hooray. Jim Carafano and Joe Concha in the 1 p.m. hour. Don't go away.
Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com wants to remind you that if you pay for your own health insurance, open enrollment ends January 15th. If you are looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers, and they will not stop. Instead, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans, if you qualify, let you pick your doctors and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the government.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause. No fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. It's all part of our commitment to provide you with the ultimate in value and total confidence before, during, and long after your purchase. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Immigration agents are on the move. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Trump border czar Tom Homan says ICE agents are conducting targeted enforcement operations across the country.
We have over 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal records walking the streets of this country. That's what we're looking for right now.
Homan also telling Fox News that in cities with restrictions on cooperating with federal agents, they're not allowed to look in jails, which means neighborhood searches that could lead to more arrests.
And unlike the last administration, we're not going to tell ICE officers not to arrest an illegal alien. So if they find others, they'll be arrested. So sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want: more agents in the neighborhood and more collateral arrests.
Homan also calls birthright citizenship a major driver of illegal immigration and says the courts can decide questions about President Trump's executive order to end it. There are multiple lawsuits over the order already, arguing it violates the Constitution's 14th Amendment, which says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdictions thereof are citizens of the United States. The Trump order targets children born in the U.S. whose parents are not in the country legally. New Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrives at the State Department.
It's a blessing and an honor to be with all of you today, and I want to introduce you to my family. I want you to meet them.
Introducing his wife, 4 children, and other family members to staffers and other personnel, just hours after he was sworn in by Vice President J.D. Vance, pledging to help achieve the president's Peace Through Strength agenda. The Trump White House is celebrating the release of 2 Americans freed by the Taliban in Afghanistan in exchange for a Taliban figure who had been serving a life term on terror and drug charges in California. The deal reportedly brokered by the Biden administration. Trump administration officials thanking Qatar for its help in facilitating the deal while pressing for the release of all Americans held by the Taliban. America is listening to Fox News.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Big time bundle up Arctic air. Lots of sunshine out there, but only 12 for the high today. The wind chill -10. So extra care out there this afternoon. Tonight, some clouds around 12 for the overnight low. Little rise in temperature after midnight. Wednesday, partly sunny, breezy, cold start, 35 Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, clouds, couple snow flurries, and 36. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
AirComfortService.com. I just ran out to my car and it is really cold outside. I hope that your heating system in your home is working for you the way it's supposed to. I hope that when you listen to me talk about Air Comfort Service, you are smiling ear to ear because you know that your comfort zone is secure. And I hope that if you've ever had to have maintenance done on it, that you reached out to Air Comfort Service. But I want to talk to a few of you right now, especially if you have a business and people come in and they're always talking about it being cold and it makes it a little bit less productive to work there because of the frigid nature on especially cold days like today. Air Comfort Service can help you both residentially and commercially make sure that your comfort zone is there for yourself, for your employees, for your family, for your guests, whomever it might be. You reach out to them at 314-513-0091 and talk to them about getting back into your comfort zone. You can talk to them about maintenance plans that can offset larger costs down the road by catching things before they get too expensive. You just need to call them at 314-513-0091 or visit them online at aircomfortservice.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BEDSORE.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you have a furnace that needs service, a heat pump that needs repairs, or a boiler that needs to be replaced, contact Air Comfort Service. They offer 24/7 emergency heating service too. AirComfortService.com.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Very cold outside, but it is warm in our hearts because we've got a new president. Is that too much? I don't think it's enough, honestly. We're watching the day after the full first day of the Trump administration. Business continues to take place at a rapid pace, and we're watching with great interest the different things that are going to come of this new administration. He got right down to business yesterday. Among other things, we just discussed this a little bit with our guest at 1225. Congressman Mike Bost was talking about the birthright citizenship executive order.
This next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
Yeah, that's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
What about that one in the course? That one is likely to be challenged.
Could be. I think we have good grounds, but you could be right. I mean, you'll find out. It's ridiculous. We're the only country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. But, we'll see. We have very good grounds.
So he's saying birthright citizenship, they're going to end that anchor baby situation that people have been taking advantage of quite a bit. In addition to that, he reacted directly to the southern border with this executive action.
So this is a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border of the United States?
That's a big one. A lot of big ones, huh? You know what that means, right?
So there he is. He's talking about a national emergency at the southern border. And 4 years later, Jim Carafano back on the Annie Frey show to talk to us about the stark change in policy and in action. Jim Carafano, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. I'm looking forward to our conversations looking a little bit differently than they have for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I'm done here. Trump's got it from here. I'm just doing a handout.
What did you think about all of the action that he took yesterday? I mean, he got straight to it.
It's just like one giant I told you so. I mean, it was so predictable. One huge mistake that people make is they keep thinking that it's the Donald Trump of 2016. This is a leader who was not only president for 4 years, but has been watching from the sidelines. He is probably today the most experienced global leader on the planet, with more knowledge, connectivity, expertise, with a deeper bench of qualified people than maybe any other global leader. So this is a guy who walks in the door that's ready to govern. And we saw that with literally the tsunami of just... You think, those skaters at the Olympics, and they're like going, the ice skaters, and then they just turn 180 degrees and completely change their momentum and do like a triple axel. Mm-hmm. That's Donald Trump and the U.S. government.
Yeah.
We're just headed in the completely opposite direction. And and it's not just the momentum is unbelievable. Business community, global leaders, people are being very pragmatic about, look, maybe I don't like the orange hair or whatever, but they recognize not only is this guy's in charge, and this guy's know what he's doing, and he's forceful in doing it, but if we're honest with ourselves, a lot of the things Donald Trump wants to do are in the best interest of all of us. So I think the world's going to get out of the way and let Trump drive on.
It's exciting to think about. We're speaking with Jim Carafano. You, of course, do policy, not politics, but that's what this is all about. The policy changes that are in place right now, just a day after he's sworn in the oath of office, are dramatic changes from what they used to be under the Biden administration. I'm wondering how you feel. Like, the politics is how you try to persuade people to feel about things. I'm wondering how much of this policy change is going to be felt by Americans, not Democrats or Republicans, Americans, without them even realizing that it's something that Donald Trump showed up on day one and made a change.
Well, I think this is kind of the dirty little secret. This is not about Donald Trump being this unbelievably magnetic populist leader that people are just kind of hypnotized by. This is what Americans want. I mean, Trump is his political revival and his massive momentum. This is because he is delivering on exactly what people want. This is why Milei was successful in Argentina, why Meloni was successful in Italy, and I just think this is unstoppable. And the irony here, of course, is what we see from kind of the opposition, kind of doubling down on, Trump is evil. We're going to stop this. We're going to sue these guys. We're going to Trump-proof America. We're going to fight his nominees for his cabinet. They are essentially, I think, accelerating their own suicide because they're not offering a resistance or opposition to Donald Trump or protecting the American people. They're demonstrating, I think, to American voters how completely out of touch and irrelevant they really are. And I think they're just accelerating their own demise. It's like that scene in Ghostbusters when Gozer says choose a form of your own destruction, it's like the left has decided that they're just going to keep doing what they're doing and ensure their own destruction.
Yeah. There's some obvious lessons to be learned, but it doesn't seem like it's as obvious to other people as it is to us. Jim Carafano on the show with us right now, a foreign policy expert that we always lean on at times like this. I've seen video. I think it's real. I'm skeptical of everything right now, but Vladimir Putin with an interpreter talking over the top of it, talking about wanting to have a discussion about potential peace. We know that Donald Trump has spoken about that conflict and talked about the horrors of the war and the death on both sides. Do you see any dramatic change in that conflict?
I think Putin has already hung himself. His going in response to Trump out of the box was to diss the peace thing and essentially pump himself up. They've been doing a lot of military operations, so he has an incredibly weak position, and literally he spit at the president of the United States in his offer to end this thing. And Putin is now playing this thing about, I'm congratulating Trump on his election, and we'll talk. He is in an incredibly weak position, and so I don't know what he's going to do, because obviously Putin's going to make his own decisions, but this is a guy that does not have a winning hand, and he knows it. And what Putin always does is he tries to bluff his way out of it. He'll make outrageous demands, and the more outrageous his demands, the less the U.S. should give him.
Jim Carafano on the Andy Frey Show right now. Trump seems very comfortable in his relationship with Putin. You're saying Putin likes to bluff his way out of things. We continue to hear Donald Trump refer to his relationship with Kim Jong-un like, I had a relationship with him. He talks about these world leaders that are supposed to be made pariahs by the left, but in talking points, but then in real life action, they don't really do anything to lower their standing in the world. They just do a lot of talking at home. What is the world reacting to right now that Donald Trump is the president once again?
Well, I can say what Trump is going to react to. These, first of all, people forget Trump tried to cut a deal with Putin and Putin spit in his eye. He offered Kim a get out of jail free card, and Kim not only spit in his eye, he's been helping the Russians in this. Trump's not going to forget these things. It's like Vito Corleone, right? Yeah, what is the Vito Corleone comes to you and gives you a big bear hug before he basically has you assassinated? I mean, I think Trump has a long memory, and he knows that these guys are fleckless, useless losers. And in the end, that's the way he's going to treat them, even as he gives them bear hugs and says, I can talk to this guy. Because they don't have any cards to play. The Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, North Korea, what do they all have in common? I mean, they're playing a game of poker with an ace poker player, and they don't get 5 cards. They get like 2 cards, and they don't match, and they're all like face cards.
That's a funny way to put it. Jim, when we have the hostage situation come to, or at least move towards a conclusion, and everything hasn't unfolded quite yet, we get one final Oval Office message from Joe Biden before he says anything like, thanks America for letting me be your president. He's like, I did this. The Trump administration seems to not feel like they need to fight them too much for the credit. Where do you put the credit and the blame?
I mean, the Biden administration will go down as one of the worst administrations in modern history. He will eclipse Jimmy Carter as being seen as both incompetent and destructive. And look, there wouldn't be an October 7th. There would not have been an invasion of Ukraine if Biden had not shown tremendous weakness on the international stage. And rather than claiming credit for anything, he should spend the rest of his life apologizing to the American people and giving classes on how to lead by not doing what he did.
Does the Trump pressure, the negotiations that were taking place in, did they get the hostages released?
I definitely think it played a role. And long term, what's really important strategically is that if you're in Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis in Yemen or in Iran, the game is over. That Trump, the United States of America, has Israel's back. And Israel was pummeling these guys before. Now they're facing Israel and essentially a blank check from the United States to go after these guys. So again, America's enemies around the world are suddenly in a very, very, very weakened position, and they are all they're all dealing with this from a position of weakness. And so we'll see all of this. We'll see some accommodation, like on the part of Hezbollah, give them the hostages back. We'll see bluffing, like we've seen from Putin. We'll even see some puffing up, like from the Chinese and other things. But the reality is they're all sitting in their little conference rooms saying, "How can we deal with an American juggernaut that realizes the power they have, and they have all the cards, and we're facing a president that knows how to play them."
Oh, it's just different. It's different today. Jim Carafano, were you able to take place in any of the festivities? You're like Carmen Sandiego. Where are you?
Well, I'm in Macedonia. Actually, last night I watched the inauguration with some friends in Macedonia, and they're all wearing MAGA hats. It was really quite.
That's wonderful.
Quite surreal. So they just weren't celebrating in America. I got to tell you, but I got to say this, Annie. Can you go back and play the show from 4 years ago, the day after the Biden inauguration?
Yes.
And the difference in the conversation that we're having. It's, God bless the American voter. That's all I can say.
God bless him. You're absolutely right. God bless you as well, Jim Carafano, in your travels and in your work. We appreciate you and your time here. Thanks for coming with us today.
All right, you bet.
Take care.
Have a great week.
You
Bye-bye.
as well. Bye-bye. Jim Carafano there on the Annie Frey Show, and he's absolutely right, and I'm going to make a note of that right now. We've got to get that interview. I think I said that last week with him, and the way he was talking about what was upon us and how we were going to see this southern border situation deteriorate at such a great pace. He was so right, and he's been right about this all along, and we're grateful to have him on the show. When we come back, let's talk to Joe Concha, our friend, Fox News contributor. His book is coming out in April, and it's the greatest comeback ever inside Trump's big, beautiful campaign. And watching yesterday, I couldn't get enough of it. I'm on X. I couldn't get enough. Every next post on X made me as happy or happier than the one before. And I just wonder how long can this really last? How long can we enjoy the winning? I saw Ben Shapiro tweeted and said something to the effect of, Donald Trump lied to me. He said I would get sick of the winning. I am not sick of the winning. I demand more winning. Me too, Ben Shapiro. Me too. Joe Concha on the Annie Frey Show next.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Civility.com. Are you looking to get your affairs in order this year? Your significant other, your spouse, and yourself have been thinking about this. If you have children and you have not yet established a will, a trust, your powers of attorney, please, 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 I implore you to get on this task today and do it where we did it. I'm a client of Todd Sivia and Sivia Law. They've got 5 locations on both sides of the river here. You can visit them. You can call directly at 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, or go online to civialaw.com. Wills, trust, powers of attorney. They have a 2-week turnaround of completed documents from your initial initial sit-down appointment. I have friends and family who I've sent there who have also raved about the experience. They are thorough, but they are also going to be able to move this process through at a pace that is going to not make it draw out forever. And once you get done with this, you'll probably be surprised by how much money can be saved by all of the tax knowledge that Todd Civia has, the real estate knowledge that Civia has. When you go to Civia Law, you are going to be protecting yourself. You're going to be protecting your heirs, your children. You're going to be protecting yourself from being in probate. It's a really smart move with a really great person, Todd Civia, and his amazing staff at his law offices. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, civialaw.com.
I do appreciate all the referrals that we receive daily. It is phenomenal. I've said it. I can't say it enough how much I do appreciate the referrals. With that being said, if you do refer me, you're in great hands. I will not sell homeowners that work hard for their money, just like myself, crap that they do not need. But if you want good quality, man, you can't even say cheap anymore. I don't think I can even say cheap by the... You can't even go by price. Okay, that's another commercial. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Remember, it's the only number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, Mark Reardon returns to recap Inauguration Day. Dwayne Patterson from HotAir.com will be joining. It all starts after Fox News at 3.
The Mark Reardon Show, weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free.
Oh, what you know, Joe.
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Well, we got to watch the culmination of the greatest comeback ever, which is also the title of Joe Concha's book, which is coming out in April. Joe, it feels freer and sunnier and happier in America today. Can you tell where you are? Same thing?
Despite the fact that it's 4 degrees here in New Jersey right now.
It's super cold here in St. Louis as well.
Everywhere, right?
Yeah. Just give me your thoughts. I don't want to box you in here. Yesterday's events, what'd you think?
I think that if you told me on January 7th, 2021 that would be happening, that Donald Trump not only would get the nomination, but actually win the presidency, win the popular vote, win every swing state, that would have been a hard sell. I got to be honest with you, which is why I wrote the book, because when you look at all the things this man has overcome, right, 2 impeachments, 2 assassination attempts, let's see, the Mueller report and the exoneration that went along with it, but that came 3 years into his first presidency, 4 cases against him on the lawfare front, all 4 of which have now failed. Obviously, a hostile media taking the side of the Democratic Party. First, Joe Biden covering up for him, and then the Summer of Joy, Brat Summer, Kamala Harris etch-a-sketching her entire record and making her to a candidate that she was not. I mean, just all the things that this man has overcome, and to be where he is now, more popular than ever. You know, we're seeing like 57% approval, 56% approval. He was never in the 50s ever. So I think that sky's the limit here at this point, and we're already seeing the ridiculous reactions from the media who think that this is 2017 and think they have the influence they once did even 8 years ago. They don't, and they're just kind of being laughed out of the room, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, it is really something I'm going to be honest, Joe, yesterday I just basked in the wonderfulness of the day. Like, I just soaked it all in, and I didn't save one time during Joe Biden when he was getting ready to depart Joint Base Andrews. President Trump was speaking in Emancipation Hall. He was kind of going on, and Joe Biden was going to speak, and we dipped. I was like, we got to see what MSNBC is doing. I got to see. And Rachel Maddow just sounded so sad. And they left the Trump speech. They went into the Joe Biden speech. He didn't even complete a sentence without slurring something that was you could not possibly understand what he was saying. Are you peeking over on the other side of the media aisle these days and looking at how they're handling this?
Oh, yeah, I kind of have to, right? I want to be, fully educated on what I'm talking about. And with regards to Rachel Maddow, I mean, we can't underscore this enough. During the Biden presidency in 2022, she told her bosses, I'm only going to work 1 day a week now.
Right.
I'm going to come in on Mondays, or reserve a seat for me, and I'm off for the other 6. And you're like, who does this? And then MSNBC, stupidly enough, still pays her the $30 million a year she makes, despite working 1/5 of the time. And now that Trump's coming back, I mean, how would you like to be Alex Wagner, who took over those other 4 nights for her? Then Rachel says, well, now that Trump's coming back in, I think I want to work 5 days a week again. So, Alex, be on your way. All right, that's my seat again. And for her just to go off the way she did, it's all cheesy Skinamax at 3 a.m. performance art. I don't actually believe she believes what she's. I mean, she probably does, but it's so over the top that after a while, it's just, I don't know.
But I think about we know that the audiences that are out there for what they're serving up are not that big. But at this point in time, if Donald Trump starts to get these policies and they get out there and they get moving and we start seeing results from this, and you hope the prices come down. You hope he makes the tax cuts permanent. You hope he secures the border. You hope that he tampers down some of the conflicts that are taking place. I know we've got hostages coming home. When people start seeing this, who wants to tune into these channels and watch them melt down because they are in the misery loves company category? Like, who wants to be in that anymore?
I'll share some numbers with you. All right. So CNN, for example, in prime time last week, okay, we're a week away from an inauguration. There's a lot going on in terms of the cabinet and the confirmation hearing. So busy news time. Plus, it's cold out and no one's outside. So, yeah, you would hope that ratings would go up. So CNN averages 300,000 viewers from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay. Now, 300,000 viewers is about 100,000 people fewer than the total population of Wichita, Kansas. Okay? And they're in 90 million homes. Like, 300,000 is an almost impossible number to get to. They're getting beat by reruns of Seinfeld, SpongeBob, and South Park. I mean, and they're paying, at last check, people a lot more than Cartman's getting paid, for example, right? So that's the answer is already that people are already not tuning in. That legacy media is basically dead. MSNBC is no better. 650,000 people watch them on average, and that is smaller than the population of El Paso, Texas. So I could go on with all these nice little city versus viewer analogies, but yeah, I think it's already happening in a big way. And their whole problem is they become completely predictable, Annie.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened at MSNBC, for example, where they hire one somewhat pro-Trump pundit and Ronna McDaniel. She lasted 48 hours, and I'm not exaggerating. The inmates went nuts. We can't have her here. She's a danger to democracy. It's like, what? You don't want to have one opposing view? I mean, CNN, I'll give him a little credit because I have a guy named Scott Jennings on there who, at least in the clips that I see, is able to hold his own. But give him a show then. I mean, if he's the only interesting person on there, then maybe you want to have another viewpoint instead of Abby Phillip and Caitlin Collins with that sourpuss face I got to endure like every night.
Do you remember on election night, like MSNBC's numbers were good compared to normal or something, and they were kind of bragging about it? It's like, Do you know why people tune into MSNBC on election night? Like, do you really understand why people were like, we have to see what's happening here? Same thing with The View the next day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all Schadenfreude, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not German. But, yeah, you just want to see the funeral, and you want to see just how hysterical they get. So, yeah, they'll have decent ratings for yesterday. But I'm sure, not to toot Fox's own horn, but I'll toot Fox's own horn. I'll bet you we probably had at least 7 or 8 times the audience of CNN or MSNBC. Because I think a lot of those viewers were depressed and probably didn't tune in at all. And then, obviously, your average Fox viewer probably pretty pumped for the next president and coming administration. Again, after everything they witnessed, especially over the last 6 months.
We're speaking with Joe Concha, Fox News contributor. You can find him on X at Joe Concha TV, and his book coming out, You Need to Reserve It, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. I'm curious what you thought about the indoor inauguration versus the outdoor. I've never been to an inauguration, so I have nothing to compare with it other than my eyeballs on a television screen. I particularly thought the production value as a consumer of it in a nice temperature-controlled room, I thought that everything looked beautiful.
It really did. It was majestic. And the last time we saw this happen was 1985, Ronald Reagan, same deal because of the weather. And then, of course, you have all these idiots on the left, especially on X, saying Trump was afraid of the crowd size, so he moved it in so he wouldn't talk about the crowd. No, maybe, Obama had an inauguration in 2009, and dozens of people went to the hospital with hypothermia, right? And it's just not comfortable. If you could do it inside, then do it inside. I mean, you don't lose one bit of aura as far as doing it there. And the acoustics were great. You had Carrie Underwood doing a cappella, right?
So
the music wouldn't go on. So, yeah, I thought it was great, and it just seemed like Trump could do a lot more and be in a lot more different places yesterday. I don't know how that guy does it. I was told by one of his aides that he doesn't even drink coffee. Like, all right, he doesn't drink alcohol. That's fine. But doesn't even drink coffee. Like, where does it come from? At 78 years old. It's insane.
I wonder if he's going to let RFK Jr. change Diet Coke at all. I can't imagine Diet Coke is, like, good for you, but it's good for him, apparently.
Yeah, it's a hands-off thing. When I was at Mar-a-Lago for New Year's Eve, I was actually seated at his table. I think I may have shared this with you. And it's funny because everybody else gets poured champagne, and then this one other person comes over and pours the Diet Coke. Like, the Diet Coke goes there. And then you feel guilty about having the champagne because, well, the guest of honor isn't
drinking?
So.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it.
I stuck to water.
So when you are watching Donald Trump go through and make good on so many campaign processes before he even gets to the ball of the evening, or the balls of the evening, when you're watching him go through and sign all these executive orders and sit in front of the press. And Peter Ducey's like, oh, hey, you got a letter in that desk from Joe Biden. He's like, oh, look at that. Yes, I do. My daughter, she's 12. She was sitting on the couch watching this with me. She goes, is he just sitting in front of the media answering questions? She couldn't believe that the president of the United States would interact with the media that way. And being a 12-year-old coming of age, she's paying more attention than she had been in the first Trump presidency, of course. Yeah. How different is America going to view the actions of Donald Trump 2.0 versus Joe Biden versus Donald Trump 1.0?
They will have an appreciation for it, right? Because 2017 to 2020, that was Trump being Trump, and they didn't realize. The one line that always stood out to me when I went to a Trump rally for the book, he said, you don't have to, he goes, our movement, I'm paraphrasing, so excuse me, this movement, the MAGA movement, is more powerful and popular than ever. Because in 2016, you had to imagine what a Hillary Clinton presidency would be like, or you would have to imagine in 2020 what a Joe Biden presidency is going to be like. He says, now you've experienced it, and you don't like it very much. It's not very good in terms of everything. So, yeah, people appreciate it more, especially the fact that journalists attack him as being some sort of threat to the industry, yet he's the most accessible person you could ever find in the Oval Office. I think people will have a certain, not liberal so much, but independents, pragmatic Democrats, regular folks will have an appreciation for Donald Trump, not just what he accomplished, the fact that he is so open and transparent when speaking to the press, and he doesn't have to call on hand-picked reporters. A list isn't handed to him. You don't have people in the room screaming at reporters to get out of the room like they did with Biden. So, yeah, after witnessing all that, this is refreshing, for lack of a better term.
Before we let you go, did you see the conversation between Barry Weiss and Mike Johnson talking about Mike Johnson going in to have a conversation with Joe Biden about LNG, and Joe Biden had no idea that he had done what he had done? Did you see that conversation?
Yeah, I saw it. At least not surprising.
Yeah, I'm asking myself right now, with the pardons that were signed at the very last minute, and I don't know how deep the roots would possibly go, but I am wondering, does Joe Biden know that he did everything he did?
His brain turned applesauce some years ago. My first book, I finished in 2022, and I was already making the argument that he has no business being a golf starter at your local county club, let alone, the president of the United States. It wasn't that night at the debate in June that it suddenly all went downhill. This has been happening for a while. So you got to think that probably for the last 4 years, somebody's been running the country. I don't know if I buy the Obama part, just some, like a Ron Klain, chief of staff kind of guy, Susan Wright, who knows? But almost everything you've seen out of him is kind of inconsistent with some of the positions that he used to have. Like, he used to be all for strong border security, right? And the crime bill in 1994, I mean, that thing was as tough as you'll ever see. And then it all changed. Did he change, or probably no, he was just controlled and he just went along to get along, I guess.
Do you think we'll ever know? Do you think we'll find out the details of what was really happening?
You would have to take somebody from the inside to do that. But could I see like a Kamala Harris, like her people starting to leak stuff? Yeah, but I think we already know. I think we have a good idea. We don't know the specifics, but we do know the last 4 years that we've had basically a walking corpse in the White House, and that is just so embarrassing for this country.
Not any longer, Joe Concha. And you've written books on both ends of that spectrum, and we appreciate you coming on with us. And I cannot wait to see what the rest of these days. I mean, it's just like every time you look up, there's something else to report on. So our jobs are going to be a little more fun than they used to be going forward.
I picked the wrong week to stop stiffing glue. All right.
I love it. Take it. Have a good afternoon, Joe. Thanks for being with us. Take care. Bye-bye. Joe Concha, Fox News contributor on X. Go follow him and thank him for coming on the Annie Frey Show. They'd love to hear that. It's always helpful to get him back on the show. Joe's great with us, though, at Joe Concha TV on X. And his book, I mean, listen, in April when this book comes out, you're going to be reminiscing about this moment in time in cold, frigid January when we watched Donald Trump come in at the Time magazine cover, which they do digital covers now, on the internet. But the Time magazine cover is him sliding into the Oval Office desk and just knocking everything off the desk. And it just says, he's back. He's back. It's so wonderful. His book, Joe Concha's book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign, is going to be a wonderful read in April, so go pre-order it as soon as it is available. Quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Should future inaugurations be held indoors? Yes or no? We were talking about the production value of being able to control all of those things inside, certainly the security level. I don't know that it's ever going to be particularly warm in January in Washington, D.C. Does it just make more sense to do it indoors? Would you like that? Yes? No? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments. We'll be right back.
What you know, Joe? Well, I don't know Latin. What you know, Joe? Ain't I having? What you know, Joe?
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
STS-armory.com. Second Amendment supporters, lovers, people inquiring if you still have one in the state of Illinois. Yes, you do. And you need people. And I have people that are going to be your people. That's Katie and Jesse at STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. If you go visit them to ask your questions, you're going to get very knowledgeable, well thought out answers. If you are dealing with a particular kind of struggle, if you're a conceal and carry person and you just really don't love the holster or the placement of your conceal, they can guide you through your options, fitting you for what is right for your particular needs. If you are starting at the very beginning and you got to get that weird FOID card that Illinois requires you to have, or if you're trying to apply for the conceal and carry license and you need to get the education, they do those classes for you and they are the best. Reach out to STS Armory by calling them at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, and talk to them about your firearm needs, accessories, safety, education, all of it. You can find them online at sts-armory.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Land Story Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Well, we just got done having a conversation with Joe Concha, and if you missed that, go ahead and use the Odyssey app to rewind to it and catch it. But we described the inauguration as majestic, and I got to agree with him. But yesterday's inauguration begs the question, should future inaugurations be held indoors? Yes or no? That's the subject of today's YouTube chat, live chat poll. We want to hear what you think, so what we need you to do is jump on Annie's YouTube page, youtube.com/@AnnieFrey, F-E-R-Y, and vote in the poll. And then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted, and we might feature your comment on air. The time is 1:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We at the Annie Frey Show are making a big push to make a Lutheran education more accessible for local St. Louis area kids. And I need your help by donating directly at lesastl.org/Annie. That's lisastl.org/Annie.
If you change your mind, take a chance. I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. This doesn't have to do with politics or anything. I'm just going to talk about this on the air. This is life. So I talk about this a lot. I coach sports or whatever for a grade school. But I'm, like when you go into a gym and they got music going and everything. Ethan, can you come in here? Because Ethan's kind of helping me with this. You're a part of this conversation. And he's closer to the topic that I am discussing here right now. So maybe Ethan can come in and help us have this conversation. But what is the standard that we need to be judging music that is played in a student situation, like a sporting event or something like that? Like, where do you end up drawing the line as to what's appropriate or not? Because I'm just going to tell you this right now. I listen to songs that used to be, they're probably still on Casey. I know what y'all were listening to when you were young, and those words are filthy too. Some of that rock music that I know what you're talking about is very clear. You don't have to dig too deep to understand the type of things that were being discussed in some of those old, I don't know what it's called, old music, that rock music from the 70s. I know what was going on. I'm good grief. I talk all the time about listening to 20s Junction, or is it 40s Junction? And I send some of these songs like the What You Know Joe song. I listen to this old kind of music, and there's some filthy stuff in there, and I'm always like, Grandma, what were you? Well, I guess I know what you were doing. How do you draw?
Not so innocent, Granny.
I was saying to Ethan, because I'm putting together something with the help of our wonderful friend D to the C, like a little hype track for the beginning of the basketball for the basketball team. It's a high school, and I said to Ethan, I'm like, everything sounds filthy to my 40-year-old mom ears, and you said that music is worse now than it was before.
Oh, it's so much worse. I mean, like the stuff that was playing during the 70s that you say this is bad. That is mild compared to the vulgarity of music today. Now, I will say this. It is a lot of it depends on the genre. I mean, rap music today is just so unbelievably vulgar. I mean, it is brutal. Not, like I said, not to say that there can't be cleaner versions of it, but it is, I mean, if your grandma listened to this now, I mean, it might kill her.
Good.
Eyes just wide. I mean, it's brutal.
I think about music that I listen to. So I graduated high school in 2002, and rap and hip hop was kind of going through a high moment coming onto the scene. I mean, it just was evolving because it was becoming more popular. But it just seems like things that used to be talked about or winked at are now graphically described. Is that what it is?
Well, it's a good example is that when you were just talking about, it's a little bit more inappropriate, everyone listening can like assume and have an idea of what you were talking about. Today's music wouldn't do that though. It would just straight up say it. Does that make sense?
I'm reading at what people are commenting here, different things, and explaining how suggestive things that were euphemisms, and some of the things they're saying are euphemisms like sledgehammer. Talking about Peter Gabriel. And okay. See, if I say that and you've got your children in the car, they don't know.
Right.
But
it wouldn't say that now.
But some of these songs, if you played them off Spotify or whatever right now, they would be very, very well read on the topic by the end of the song.
Correct.
If they listen to it.
Correct.
Does that ever stop? I mean, are we just at a place where that can't go back? Like, aren't we talking about decency?
Yeah. It's gotten, even from the time that I would say that, like for me, I started, and I don't really listen to rap music anymore on the occasion when I work out, but I would say I would have matured out of that. But I mean, in high school, I mean, like I still have a 900 song rap playlist that that was all I listened to throughout high school. So I mean, looking at where it was when I was 15, now I'm 24, and it is still getting worse.
Yeah,
in my
wait
opinion.
15 years.
It is still getting worse.
Doug says there was a phase of rap and hip hop that was more violent than sexual. That's more of what I grew up with. There was a lot of, it was like thug life. Literally. Thug life. That was like a thing. And that has definitely shifted. Which, if you want to listen to that music, that's fine. But again, going back to my original question, what is appropriate to play in a public school gym? Are you ever sitting in an event like that and it's centered around children, older children, and they're playing things? Are you like, this is just filthy?
There definitely is stuff that you can play, and some of it you may have to, a great example. There are songs out there that you have to find the clean versions too, but that aren't dirty. You're not listening to it saying, what is this? Like where it may have a curse word or two, but it's not a dirty song. There is still that out there. It's just becoming less and less.
Miranda Lambert and Elle King, who sings America's Sweetheart for this, she doesn't sing it.
I've heard that before.
What?
That song, America's Sweetheart. Where have I heard that before?
That's our theme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say, they sing a song, "Drunk." I'm drunk and I don't want to go home.
Okay.
Baby, I'm drunk and I don't want to go home. Well, my kids love to sing that. I love that song. I play it, but my children, when they sing it, they sing, "I'm pumped and I don't want to go home."
Oh, that's sweet.
That's like, well, I got
I'm
my
pumped, Mom.
I've got my 8-year-old in the back of the car going, "I'm drunk and I don't want to go home." I'm like, you're pumped, sister. You are pumped to go do good in the world. Okay. And then when I'm driving in the car by myself, sometimes I sing Pump too. I just try to ingrain it.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, though. My husband, this is kind of telling on him, I guess, but my husband used to really love Kid Rock in high school. But we grew up in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Kid Rock was huge. He came on the scene then. And I don't know, it was maybe 5-8 years ago or something. He was going out for a run and he put some music. He's like, I want to play Kid Rock. That's what I used to work out to. And he put it on. He came home. He came home and he came in the house and he was like, Kid Rock is filthy. He's like, I couldn't believe the words that were. He goes, I knew every one of the words, but why did I not know the words? He couldn't believe that his younger self was listening to this stuff, and now as a 30-something was like, holy smokes, this is the kids would call it brain rot.
I am in the exact same spot, except I would say that the farther into, I guess, like, you know, modern times we get, like, not to say that the 90s weren't, but just like things continue to get more and more vulgar. Like, I listened to what I listened to 5 years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is.
I sang that in the car with my mother.
This is disgusting. I mean, yeah, it's brutal. It's sad.
Do you have any music like that you revisited?
Oh gosh, yeah, everything that I used to listen to. I go back and listen. I mean, like, even the stuff that's allegorical. Walk This Way is wild if you get the allegories and what they're talking about. And I mean, they're so crazy that I won't even like mention them on the air. But everything that I used to listen to, and then you, like you said, Jared had that moment. I had that same moment where I will. And this will happen occasionally. I'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember that song. And I'll pop it on the radio. I'll download it on iTunes or whatever. And I'll pop it on my stereo in my truck. And I'm like, no.
If you went to a high school basketball game and Walk This Way was playing,
you wouldn't
think
you wouldn't
twice
think,
about
you
it.
Wouldn't, no, you'd sing the fake words you think you know of the song. Hey, just like Joe Biden.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe Biden karaoke.
Maybe that's his favorite song. Maybe that's what he's been going for all these years.
I think it's Chacarone.
Chacarone.
I don't know. I'm curating this stuff, and we're going to put together some music, and I'm excited to do that for them. But I'm also like, I just sent the songs to Ethan because I don't know the songs that were sent to me, and I was like, are these cool? And Ethan was like, well, some of them.
No, Mom, not cool. Nope.
Some of them would be great. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. But don't you, I mean, have you ever been in a place like that before where it's like kind of around, like, I mean, you have family that is involved in high school sports and stuff like that. Does that ever occur to you when you're in a gym and you're like, oh, this is an interesting choice?
Yes, because my dad, being the athletic director at a high school, the entire playlist that they play was constructed by yours truly. I've had, even earlier years in college, I had people that were still on sports teams asking me to put together playlists for them.
Maybe I need your help then.
I charge by the hour, and you are welcome to reach out to acquire my services anytime.
I'm doing that now, and here's my debit card. Go buy yourself something nice.
Hey-yo.
Don't embarrass the family. That's really the goal here. Do not embarrass the family. Can we get more music that's like hype music and really good music that isn't like just singing about sunshines and rainbows and stuff like that? Like,
What's wrong with sunshines and rainbows?
It's just like you need something that's motivating. It needs to be good. It needs to be good without being filthy.
What, ABBA's not doing the job?
Oh, no, I'm hyped. But this is a 40-year-old woman doing her own show.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Oh, no, you're not. But you did pick the music for the show.
I'm fired up.
We'll
Take
be
a
right
chance,
back.
baby.
Let's take phone calls in the next hour about your thoughts on the inauguration. 314-241-9797. We'll be right back.
Raymond Don here, the People Shark. I want to share a secret that's changing people's lives. There is a company called National Debt Relief that can help you get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible, like 12 to 48 months from now. With National Debt Relief, you can cut your minimum credit card payments by 50% and pay as little as $250 a month. Imagine, instead of paying multiple high-interest payments every month, you can make one low monthly program payment, plus you can get approved in just a few minutes. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you. Trust me when I tell you, National Debt Relief's got your back and can help you get back on track.
To learn how you can reduce your credit card debt and become debt-free, call 800-358-4422. 800-358-4422. Again, that's 800-358-4422.
Don't wait. Apply today.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max used for adults only.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Trump critics running to court. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. An executive order targeting birthright citizenship now facing multiple lawsuits.
Hours after the ACLU filed suit, more than a dozen attorneys general challenged President Trump's order ending birthright citizenship, a long-standing interpretation of the 14th Amendment that says anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen.
This is an extreme and unprecedented act, and this executive order is an assault on the rule of law.
New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin says the executive action attacks a constitutional right that is core to the nation's earliest days. A White House spokesman says the lawsuits are nothing more than an extension of the left's resistance, and the Trump administration is ready to face them in court.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Trump border czar Tom Homan says a crackdown on illegal immigration has begun, with ICE agents across the country focusing first on public safety threats. He also tells Fox News the Trump administration won't overlook the northern U.S. border.
Crossings in the northern border, especially in that area where the officer was killed, the crossings are up 600%.
A border agent was shot and killed during a traffic stop in Vermont yesterday near the U.S.-Canada border. One suspect was also killed, another in custody. The FBI among the agencies investigating. New Secretary of State Marco Rubio telling State Department staffers voters decide the course of the nation.
We have elected Donald J. Trump as our president when it comes to foreign policy on a very clear mission. And that mission is to ensure that our foreign policy is centered on one thing, and that is the advancement of our national interests.
He was sworn in this morning. CIA Director nominee John Ratcliffe could get a Senate confirmation vote today. President Trump will be interviewed by Fox's Sean Hannity tomorrow, airing tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, on Fox News Channel. A fire at a ski resort hotel in Turkey, now blamed for at least 76 deaths, happened near the start of a 2-week winter break, believed to have started in the restaurant section. America's listening to Fox News.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just one dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Big time bundle up Arctic air. Lots of sunshine out there, but only 12 for the high today. The wind chill -10. So extra care out there this afternoon. Tonight, some clouds around 12 for the overnight low. Little rise in temperature after midnight. Wednesday, partly sunny, breezy, cold start. 35 Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, clouds, a couple of snow flurries, and 36. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Do you want to kickstart planning for your retirement this year? I know a quick and easy way to do this. It's a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. It's kind of like getting the Cliff Notes on how you can make your money go a lot further in retirement. Hey, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You're going to learn about tax saving strategies, IRA and 401k withdrawals, Roth conversions, Social Security, and more. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are still openings for the classes this month and next, so call 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. That's my personal number, 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
Well, it is 2025. Wishing everybody a better year than last year. Wishing everybody succeed on their resolutions. Really hope somebody succeeds on their resolution. Ignore that. I don't want to be a Bertie Downer. I thought I'd save all the Debbies out there. But anyway, it's still cold. You still need heat. If your system breaks, remember, look me up. You saved me on your phone. If you haven't saved me on the phone, save it under Bart. If you forget my name and number, here it is. Bart Inman. The number, it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The only number at Missouri and Illinois is 314-293-2600. That's 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless. And Happy New Year.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
97.1 FM Talk encourages you to support Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org or text the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Your gift enables the Red Cross to help people recover from disasters big and small.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It is cold out there, but it is hot in her. That's what Nelly said last night. Probably not exactly just like I did. But it was a great evening to watch all of the different things taking place and the celebrations in the evening. culminating a wonderful day, Donald Trump being sworn in to be the president once again. And he did get to the partying, but not before he did a lot of the business of the people. It was wild to watch the amount of work that he was able to get done without even having really established himself in the Oval Office yet. He was sitting at the desk in the Oval Office, and the press was in there. He was signing executive orders, and that was like the first time he had been in there. He said at one point, he's like, I just got here like 15 minutes ago, because he was asked about the drones. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute. We're going to talk about the YouTube live chat poll here in a minute. Should future inaugurations be held indoors, yes or no? I'd like to know what you think about yesterday, the whole day. How do you feel about the inauguration? How do you feel about Donald Trump now that he's been sworn in again? How are you feeling right now? I want to give you the opportunity to weigh in and to react. You can call us at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. We've got a couple people holding on the line, but we also have lines open. So if you reach out to us right now, join us on the Annie Frey Show and react to the events of yesterday. While we do that, I want to play this speech from President Trump yesterday.
I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
You know, I didn't notice until we were just watching this video right now, but the room stood up and applauded in that moment. And I'm looking right now, and everybody in view is standing up except for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Doug Emhoff that I can see. Interesting that the life saved would not be one that would be celebrated with even just a civil sort of stand and applaud and acknowledge that the fact that the man had his life saved. 314-241-9797. How are you feeling now that President Trump is sworn in? How are you feeling now that he's gotten down to business? We're on the other side of this thing, and it's not about campaigns right now. It's not about elections. It's not about he said, she said. Donald Trump is in the office of the presidency. He is in a position to affect great change, and he's already gotten to it. 314-241-9797. We'll start with Eddie. Eddie, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Give us your thoughts on yesterday and the inauguration and everything.
I'm glad that was rather fast. I'm rather happy about that. I would have stood up too. I'm a Biden supporter, but that disappointed me because the man almost died. I don't agree with that he was saved by God or anything, because God would have not let the bullet hit the firefighter and kill him. But I do think I would have stood up and applauded. So they were wrong. Biden was wrong on that one, and the other two. I enjoyed the ambiance of the interior of the Capitol. I've never seen that much of it before. That was beautiful. They should alternate it every year. One complaint I have about Trump still is CNN and some other fact checkers looked us over his numerous, like 2 or 3 speeches from the other. He was very busy. So of his speeches, he made over 20. I'd call them lies, whatever you want to call them, false claims about several things that he said over and over. And you just played a clip of one that he said that you and your guest didn't comment on. He said that the United States is the only country that has the birthright citizenship. It turns out there's 36 countries, and they're all in the Americas.
So, Eddie, let me ask you a question. Let's go back to the beginning. When you said you enjoyed the visuals of the indoors of the Capitol, you said you hadn't seen that before.
Not much of it, yeah.
That's the YouTube live chat poll for today, wondering if people think that future ones should be held indoors. Do you think that it's a smart move in January? I think that Donald Trump's life was safer inside than it was outside, but also in the frigid cold. I think the lives of the people who would have been in attendance, as we mentioned earlier, there were a lot of people who went to the hospital with hypothermia because it was very cold when Barack Obama was sworn in. Do you think we should do this inside more in the future?
Yes, more. If the temperature is below, what do you think? Like 30, maybe? That'd be a good thing. And with him people already taking shots at him already, even though I don't like him, but I wanted him to survive. I'm glad he didn't get hit, believe it or not. I don't want him or anybody to get shot, for one thing. So, and I know they got the plexiglass now around everything, but I think it was below 30. Do it every time indoors, every time. One more thing, would you please comment on at least one thing I said, about when you had a guest on that didn't challenge Trump himself. This was about 15 minutes ago, where he said that we're the only country with birthright citizenship, and most of the countries in South America have it. Canada and Mexico and the USA have it.
Well, Eddie, I appreciate your phone call, and I thank you for reaching out to us. I don't know what the birthright citizenship is of every other country, and frankly, Eddie, I don't really care. And what other countries do does not preclude what I think we should do for what is best for America. I don't look at America and say, well, there's 30 other countries that are doing this. We should be doing this too. So frankly, I don't give a darn if other countries are doing birthright citizenship. And I don't also know, Eddie, that your facts are straight and accurate in the same context that the United States was doing birthright citizenship compared to other countries. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know the details of all of that. I just know what I want for our country, which is a safe and secure country where we welcome people who want to immigrate here because they want to be a part of our country. They want to make America better by having been in it. And I don't feel as though you should be able to, you could be entitled to just sneak across a geographical location, have a child, and then that child should then be the responsibility of the state. I don't think that that's what the amendment actually intended. And I think it's important, when we read the 14th Amendment, it says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. It will be interesting. And it's not as though Donald Trump doesn't understand that this executive order that he signed is going to, I don't think he has any delusions that this is just going to happen. And there will be no challenges. There are immediate challenges to the questioning of the birthright citizenship. But you can't make something better if you're not willing to challenge it. And if you challenge it and you lose, you can find out the merits with which you lose, and you can figure out a new avenue to challenge it. The bottom line here is Joe Biden, who you said you appreciate, Eddie, was an absolute unmitigated disaster who hated our country for what it was and tried to destroy it from the inside out. And he was nearly successful at it, but just in the nick of the time, we got Donald Trump back, which is a great thing. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797 if you'd like to give us a call. Barb, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your thoughts yesterday on an indoor inauguration, the different things that we were able... Oh, she just hung up. I personally am A-okay with the indoor inauguration thing. I also think it makes a lot of sense with the indoor inauguration to have a lot of events established in places throughout the city where events can be held, where you can have the opportunity to have the president stop by, or maybe a surrogate of the president can make an appearance. For instance, if it's a military thing, then maybe you have a Pete Hegseth swing by, or just different people within the new administration that acknowledge those opportunities to get close to one another. But Capital One Arena had 20,000 people inside that weren't suffering from hypothermia. And it was a really cool environment watching the parade go by. I didn't have any problem with it, but I'm also not somebody who gets super obsessed with tradition just for the sake of tradition. Barb, we got you back. Thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. That's okay. What are your thoughts?
So I believed from the beginning that God chose Donald Trump to lead our country. So I never doubted that he would win. And I am amazed and just so thankful to God for the leadership.
Were you happy that they were able to move things indoors and that we could witness everything from a safer, secure place? That was always my concern, that outdoors was not going to be safe enough to secure Donald Trump and his safety?
I think it was great that they moved inside. I thought it was more intimate. So, yeah, I think that was a great idea, especially if it was a safety concern, then absolutely.
Okay. Barb, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Let's get to Jacob. Jacob, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your thoughts yesterday on the inauguration, the moving in indoors, the whole thing. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree with it totally. I love how everything went and everything that he had to say. I was mainly calling in response to the previous caller, Eddie, I believe that it was. As far as the birthright citizenship, that all is for people that immigrated legally to countries, and I believe that Trump is absolutely right in trying to take that route. The 36 other countries that he brought up, that's the same that goes for them. Anybody that is there legally.
That has a child.
Has nothing to do with their illegal status.
This is a little minor important detail, isn't it, Jacob?
Yes. I do love the show. Listen every day. First-time caller.
Well, Jacob, thank you. I appreciate that. Hang tight out there. Stay warm. It's nasty outside. And thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care. Let's get to, 314-241-9797. We can fit a couple more in here if you want to grab an open line. Seth, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Your thoughts on the inauguration, the indoor inauguration?
Yeah, I thought indoors was great. I thought the low temperatures was definitely a good reason to move it indoors. And to be honest, I thought it was great to see the interior of the Capitol building the way that we did, the way that they portrayed, and you could see everything going on, but also it wasn't like zoomed in way far away like it normally would have been on the TV from outside. It was a great way to do it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I completely understand wanting the people to be able to partake in the event, to be out there on the National Mall and to, fill in that space on the Capitol steps wherever they can. I understand wanting to do all of that, but I just felt like to the end with which we were able to see everything, and also that Donald Trump made a priority in his day to visit with different places and still get to be among people. I just felt like there's a lot more control that was involved in this setup, and I'm not opposed to that at all, for the safety of anybody, Republican or Democrat, who might be in that position.
Absolutely. I think the security, the security aspect is huge, and specifically this inauguration, but any other in the future.
Yes.
Absolutely, for sure.
I agree. Seth, thank you for calling. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Listen all the time. Love the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's great. It's always nice to talk to new callers as well. I think we're going to have one more call up here, see if Ethan gets done with the call screen here. But the YouTube live chat poll, if you don't want to call in, but you do want to weigh in, when you visit Annie Frey YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/@AnnieFrey, you can vote in the poll that we put up every day there. You just find today's live broadcast, and you can vote in the poll that's in that live chat portion. Chris on YouTube said, I said indoors is fine. If it must be outdoors, why do it in January? Well, that's because that's when the swearing in takes place. I suppose you could do it earlier in November. It still could be really cold. And how do you get an administration completely ready to transition in that amount of time? So it's really more about elections in November and the natural amount of time that takes to pass. That's about when you can get ready. Vicky said, yes, I liked it being indoors. They need to work out a few bugs, but I thought it was good. Shelley said, it's always cold in D.C. in January. Why not move it inside? With live streaming and such massive coverage online, everyone will be able to see what's going on. I agree. Joe said, outdoors. It feels more land of the free, home of the brave. I'm just not that brave. Thank God some people are. All right, let's take a quick break. We got more people commenting online. We're going to continue to get to these. I'd love to hear what you think, because if you listen to the show regularly, you probably heard me before the inauguration going, why don't we just do this differently? Let's secure the president's safety and get on with the business of the day. And I was pretty happy with the way they were able to move it about that. If you want to call in, we've got a few people still on the line, 314-241-9797. Gino, we'll get your call at the other side of this. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X @Annie Frey Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. And if you're shopping for flooring, you could start it at the website, and you can take it pretty far on the website if you know exactly what you want. Go to igotfloored.com right now and see why they are the best option for flooring in the St. Louis and metro area. You can request an estimate directly from igotfloored.com, from the website. You can go there and you can get a good idea of what you might be looking at from a budgetary standpoint, and you can make sure that you get the products that you want and that you need for a great value. That's very important to the family that owns and operates Michael's Flooring Outlet. And it's important to me, and I'm pretty sure it's important to you, that when you spend your hard-earned dollar, that A, you get quality for it, B, you don't waste value in doing so, and C, that you spend your money with people who are happy to do business with you. Michael's Flooring Outlet is certainly that. If you're looking for carpeting, the Mohawk Smart Strand line, if you're looking for Techwood Plus line of hardwood flooring types, whatever you need, Michael's Flooring Outlet is going to guide you through this process. It all starts at igotfloored.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Thursday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and would like to learn how linking to the market eliminates your fees and will generate you more income? Would you like to know how to lock in your gains every year without selling, even when the market's going down?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Thursday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free.
Well, there's President Trump yesterday from his inaugural address that was in the rotunda at the Capitol. And we're asking you today on the YouTube live chat poll, should future inaugurations be held indoors, yes or no? Officer Gary on YouTube said, if the weather poses a threat to people's health, have it inside. If not, outside. Doesn't have to be all one way or the other. The only thing I say to that is it's not just a weather threat that I'm concerned of. It's an actual physical threat to the president, to anybody who is in attendance at that. That security level has me concerned as well. Jackie said indoors, sadly, Whether for safety or temperature control, threats to our security have only increased. Russell said, I voted yes on the indoor inaugurations. Why not? But I think it is important to announce it way ahead of time. A lot of people spent money to be there and outside in advance. That is the real question that a lot of people, I think, are asking themselves, because if you went there and you spent money on flights and hotels and then you didn't get to partake in anything, you'd still get to be in your city's capital, but you could do that anytime. Not when everybody is descending on the Capitol to tour and to do all of those different types of things. That was the very unfortunate part of this, is that the late change of moving it indoors became financially burdensome for some people. And that was sad. That was unfortunate. We got a couple phone calls I want to get to before we move on here. Let's start with Gino. Gino, thanks for holding and thanks for calling. What are your thoughts on the inauguration?
Annie. I love your show, and I listen to it every day because I'm retired and I play chess or play poker while I'm listening to it.
Okay.
And number one, Wiggins! That's the best. That's the best thing. The best turn on. Every time I hear it, I smile because that is so good. It gets my attention.
I'm so glad he's off today.
I got two other things. I got rumor and I have uncomfortable. Which one do you want to hear first?
Uncomfortable makes me uncomfortable. Rumor is fun, so let's get the uncomfortable out of the way.
Uncomfortable. I was sitting here watching Trump yesterday being inaugurated and talking, and who walks in? My sister-in-law, and she hates Trump, and she sits down next to me, and I'm, going, yeah, I was doing it before she came in, going, yeah, what? I everything he's saying I agree with, and she is sitting here stewing, and I didn't want to say anything, and I felt so freaking uncomfortable, but so happy that Trump's president.
Yes.
That's the uncomfortable.
Rumor?
And then we blocked dinner, and it was my wife's birthday yesterday, so we all had dinner here last night. So,
did you have a rumor too?
The rumor, my brother is Catholic, and he went to he's not a priest. He almost made it to it. He stopped short, but he knew everybody that went to Cardinal Glen and Prep South. The cardinal from New York City is from St. Louis area. You know
Dolan?
that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Dolan.
Timothy
And Dolan, he knows, the rumor is that Biden went to Dolan and asked for confession, and Dolan said, you got to go to the Pope. And that was why Biden's last trip was going to be to go to Italy to see the Pope. And he had to call off on that trip because of the fires in L.A. But he has so many sins on his soul, he needs to have the Pope to absolve them.
Oh, well, I'm not Catholic, but that does sound like a rumor. Gino, thank you for calling. Thank you for listening, and we appreciate it. There's so much that happened yesterday, and I was thinking to myself as I was going through the day about peeking at the other side and seeing how the people who probably weren't doing well that day, like, how are they feeling so far? And I didn't really do it. It was too fun to celebrate the win. You didn't need to revel in the loss. But there is a lot of damage that has been done that needs to be undone. And I think that we need to be paying close attention to that. We need to not take our eyes off of it. But I have complete and total confidence that Donald Trump is on it, that he has a team, a staff of people who are looking in all of these different places. I mean, honestly, that most of the day yesterday was Donald Trump undoing the whole of the Joe Biden presidency, the efforts, the policies that were put into play. A lot of that was just essentially Donald Trump's ability to, with his pen, undo the things that Joe Biden did in his time there. I said I wanted to talk a little bit about Nelly, because we've mentioned in Wiggins America with Ethan Hannaford today at 12:45 the different celebrities and performers who took place in the inaugural festivities. One of them is our own Nelly, and watching Nelly defend himself with great wisdom. And yes, I know what I'm saying. A lot of you know, everybody knows Nelly. If you're listening to this show in St. Louis, you know who Nelly is. You can't not. He's iconic to our area. He's been incredibly charitable to our area. People know him. People love him. He agreed, because he was invited, he agreed to perform during the inauguration festivities. And it's been very interesting to see some of the backlash that he's gotten and his unwillingness to cave into it.
I thought you was riding with me because I put on for my city and I try to bring my city up every step of the way. I did not know you was riding with me because you thought I would ride for who you voted for. I didn't know that. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't know that I had to agree with your political choices, and I thought it was the things that you do, not the things that you say should be done. If you follow what I do, this shouldn't even be an argument. He's the president. He won. This isn't a campaign. This isn't an RNC. I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5. You see what I'm saying? Like to try to help somebody get voted.
Kamala didn't invite you to perform?
No. She didn't invite me.
She didn't invite me either, man. I was going to do all at home.
So Nelly is talking. He's being interviewed in a podcast. It was online, and I watched the entire 50 minutes of this, and it was eye-opening. Nelly knows exactly what he's doing. He made a choice because he believed in what he was doing, and yet listening to him, he's very aware that when he chose to perform at something that was adjacent to Donald Trump, that there was going to be backlash to an extent, that there would be people who thought he should not be doing it, call him the predictable names. He was ready for it.
I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office. So if they can put their life on the line for whoever in office, I can perform for whoever.
So he makes the case. I didn't know this about him. He grew up in Texas, in Austin. He is a military brat. He grew up in a military family, but he was raised here in St. Louis. But he talks about his love for the military. He talks about his love for the sacrifice that people who serve in our military, that's the sacrifice that they make. And he talks about how he has many times performed for our troops. And he's saying, when the commander-in-chief changes, the troops still have a mission, and the troops still honor the position of the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. Why shouldn't he? That's a really smart point, and it's a really good and positive attitude. And I'm really grateful that not only did he have this attitude about it, that he was willing to show up and actively participate in honoring the office of the president. And he never comes out and's like, I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I'm a Republican. He doesn't say that. He calls himself an independent. He doesn't go all the way into, he's not like Kid Rock and, being a groupie or whatever with Donald Trump. But he's also not saying that he's willing to participate in things that honor the man who did win the presidency. Here's more from this interview with Nelly.
Because I don't think Obama would sit there and laugh and chuck it up when he know cameras are watching with a known racist. I don't think he would do it. I don't think he would do it. I don't think he would sit there, play buddy, chuck it up with somebody who he really thought was a known racist or Hitler or whatever they said. Like, I don't think he would do that. I just don't think he would do it.
I think he'd do it. I mean,
why? So why would he get a pass?
Because Obama is a former president, so it's the dignified thing to do.
So I got to interrupt here, because when he's saying that Obama would sit and have a conversation with Donald Trump, that it's the dignified thing to do, 2 questions come up in my mind. The first is, if the dignified thing to do is to honor the president-elect at the time at Jimmy Carter, then why in the world would the dignified thing to do not be to perform if invited to sing your songs that America loves at a party celebrating the new president of the United States? Why would it not be the dignified thing for Nelly to do to say yes to the invitation? And in addition to that, if the dignified thing to do is specifically relegated to his office as the president of the United States, why would the dignified thing to do not be for the first lady to be present at both of those things? They don't really go on to talk about that. This conversation,
it's politics again.
It's the politics.
So it's politics. It's politics. So we right back in politics again. So politics.
It's also politics is the reason why Michelle is not.
So politics excuses politics. So politics excuses politics. I'm just looking for the equality in what you're saying. Because Black people, we fight for equality. We fight for equality. We fought for equality. We fought to be able to be in the military to defend the country that don't even respect us. We fought for that first.
Nelly willfully, this guy who is doing this interview has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. This guy is a big deal in with hip hop, with the world that Nelly runs in. He's speaking to a lot of people, and it was a live, and I was reading the comments that came through on the replay, and Nelly was catching a lot of heat for it. He didn't back down at all.
I'm not a politician, man. I'm not. You didn't see me out there on the campaign. You didn't see me telling y'all, yo, you should vote for this candidate. You didn't see me out there telling you should vote for this candidate. But I am honored to be performing for the office, for the president of the United States, regardless. Ain't another president asked me to perform. Ain't nobody called Nelly. I would have performed.
Well, ain't nobody ever asked you to come to a Klan rally either. But you know
what you mean? Why would I go to a Klan rally? I don't live in a Klan country.
Well, this is a Klan country.
No, this ain't no Klan.
No, this is a Klan country, man.
Where is it?
This is a Klan country.
Where it is?
This is a Klan country because, when you think about the Black Panthers and you think about the Ku Klux Klan is still riding.
All right. Well, wait a minute. What is the Klan? So you saying it's a Klan country? So the Klan. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we have a Klan jury.
Okay. So who was the? Hold on. And what party was the Klan?
What party is the Klan?
What party is the Klan?
The Republican Party.
Why? They was created by the Democrats. They was created by the Democrats.
Yes, the Democrat Party.
The Democrats created the Klan.
Yes,
that's what you're saying?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay. So what we talking about?
Nelly. Man, I've been a fan of yours from the beginning. I don't care who Nelly votes for. I don't care if Nelly is the Trumpiest Trumper that ever trumped. I don't care if he actually voted for Kamala but was honored and felt like it was cool to go perform at the inaugural and was willfully going to do it. He knows what he's doing. A lot of the hate that was coming towards Nelly in this, they're all like, oh, he just needs the money. I bet he likes the money. I'd like the money too, but I do not have the same skill set that Nelly has. I was not invited to participate and perform at an inaugural ball. He gets paid because he's good at what he does, and who cares if he wants the money or if he needs the money? What does that matter? If somebody needs money and they're willing to compromise their values to get it, then I would have a problem with it. He doesn't have compromised values because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's thought his own thoughts. He's come to his own conclusions, even in the midst of the idea that Nelly knows that there are people out there who will think differently. He's not telling you who to think for. He's one of the few that's not out there telling you who to vote for. But because he agrees to go perform at a ball that honors the new president of the United States, who is president for everybody on both sides of the aisle, he gets a lot of backlash for it. I commend the willingness that he has to say, I did it for this reason, and it doesn't matter what y'all think about it. I want to honor the office of the presidency, and so I'm doing it, and he did it, and he defended it. I think that that's fantastic. And we could use more of it. And we could be more civil with each other in the process of doing it. The interview between these two is 55 minutes long, I think. Go watch every bit of it. I can't play it all on here because it's not made for FCC compliance, but you should watch it. You should take it in. It was really compelling to me. All right, quick break. When we come back, YouTube live chat poll. Should future inaugurations be held indoors? Yes or no? I haven't peeked at the results yet, but I'm excited to see if you guys are leaning heavily in one way or the other. Did you like that it was indoors? Should they do it like that in the future? Let's get to Janine's comment here. I like the indoor procedure and felt that it's probably more secure, so that is my vote. But I'm not super committed either way. Scooter said on the poll, it should be up to the man or woman being sworn in. Sometimes it's warm enough, sometimes it isn't. If the weather was nice, I'm sure President Trump would have wanted it to be outdoors. I just don't know that it's just about weather. I think the weather might have actually been a mechanism of convenience in this decision. We'll be right back with the results. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Stewart's American Mortgage and Stewie want you to start this year off with a very, very happy transformation of your mortgage. If you're looking to refinance equity in your home, take a little bit of it out, make a home improvement, pay off some debt, consolidate credit card bills or something, you can use the Bagel Loan to do that. Now, when you do a Bagel Loan refinance, and the Bagel Loan is only available at Stewart's American Mortgage, the best part about the Bagel Loan is when it comes time to pay all those closing costs, because you don't have to pay them. They don't exist. There's $0 in closing costs, thousands of dollars potentially back in your pocket, which makes your ability to access that home equity, makes that ability to lower your rate if you've gotten a mortgage here recently and the rates were crazy high, and they've come down since then. You can lower that rate and not have to pay those closing costs that are usually a hindrance through going through the process. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, Google Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
Well, we've already heard from some of you, and we've got 240 votes in the poll so far, so we want to know, should future inaugurations be held indoors, yes or no? So what we want you to do is jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote in the poll. Whenever you log on, it'll be right there. So type in Annie Frey on the YouTube, Frey, and you will find that. And then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. Should future inaugurations be held indoors, yes or no? The time is 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon back from a quick trip to the desert. We have a lot to talk about. What a day on Capitol Hill yesterday. There's a lot of repercussions today. We'll have the very latest. Also, I was pulled on stage during a magic show in Las Vegas on Saturday night. We're going to share that story a little later this afternoon. We get rolling after Fox News at 3 o'clock.
This is The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Have I done my best here, or will I be here next year, or are these my best years yet?
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Haven't talked much about the national championship game last night. Congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes on their victory. I think that game pretty much went the way people thought it was going to go. I know there's not many surprises.
The most surprising part of it was Notre Dame making things as interesting as they did at the end of the game, in my opinion.
You had to watch the whole game in order to know what happened.
Yes. It was good start for Notre Dame, but they ran into some issues as projected. Being able to slow down the Ohio State offense. Notre Dame's offense is very slow. They run the ball a lot.
Scored first.
They do not. It's not very explosive, so that created the issue if they fall behind, they might have some issues catching up. And they found themselves trailing 31-7 at one point in that game. They had a couple of things go their way, forced a fumble, were able to score quick a couple of times, and all of a sudden it was a one-possession game with 4 minutes left.
And they missed field goal.
They missed a field goal in there as well in the fourth quarter. And it really ended up coming down to one play. They had Ohio State on the ropes, really. It was 3rd and long. I think it was 3rd and 11. And they left one of the best receivers in college football one-on-one, and Ohio State chucked it deep, and that really sealed the deal. If they would have been able to get that 4th down, get the ball back, we could have been potentially talking about a different result today.
Well, the story of both of these teams throughout the course of the season has been their commitment to their faith. They've been very outspoken about faith. It's Notre Dame, and you might think, well, that's Notre Dame. Of course, they're Catholics. I'm here to tell you, I've been watching Notre Dame football since I've been married to my husband. It hasn't been about faith the whole time. And I'm not Catholic. I am a football fan of this team by marriage. They are not Catholic. So it's not like I'm not trying to speak from a position. I did this one time, and people were like, why did you have to say so many times that you weren't Catholic when it was specific to Notre Dame? And it was like, because there is an association that goes there that if you're Catholic, you would think a certain way about your team. It's not that. It's just football for me. And I've watched this season specifically, and it's probably the personnel of the team that make the big difference about this. This team specifically has been very outspoken about their faith. Now, you might think, okay, Notre Dame speaking out about their faith. Okay, I guess that's air quotes God's team. Well, Ohio State has been as vocal as anybody out there in speaking on their faith and talking about Bible studies that they're having or whatever. It's been a priority for both schools equally throughout the course of the season. After the game, we've talked about this, we've covered this on the show quite a bit, but after games, when you're talking to the winner and they're like, I just want to give glory to God, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, it's easy to say that when you win, but we've also seen throughout the course of this season, Boise State comes to mind, but a lot of opportunities that were taken by the losing team and the losing quarterback, who's usually the one who's interviewed, to also reflect on their faith. After the game was over and Notre Dame came up short and in second place, they did interview Riley, the quarterback for
Leonard.
Yeah, for Notre Dame, and this is what he had to say in that moment.
Before I answer your question, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for giving me the opportunity to play in this game. I wrote on my hand Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens irons, so should one man sharpen another. And I think, like I said, throughout the week, us and Ohio State were the two teams who praised Jesus Christ the most, and I think that we strengthened each other in our faith, in our faiths through coming to this game and competing against each other. So I'm happy to see godly men come out on top, no matter what the circumstance is. I'm very, happy to praise Jesus in the lowest of lows as well. I think as far as this program goes, we've learned a lot. We've been through ups and downs. I've been through ups and downs. I don't even recognize the person I was before I got to Notre Dame. And it's all credit to these guys beside me and everybody else in the locker room.
I just think it was a really amazing statement for him to make and to, of course, praise praise Jesus in that, but also to be complimentary towards the people who are on the other side of the field for that same particular reason. That is a difficult thing to do, and it's something that I think needs to be commended in that same instance because, again, we see people who are talking about these types of things when they win. It means a lot, too. It means sometimes even more in the midst of suffering, which is biblical in its own right. So this was the wild thing at the end of the game. Scott Van Pelt is sitting at the anchor desk here with, is it Reese Davids?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say his name? Reese. Okay, and so I'm looking here and I'm watching them. There's red and white confetti all over the place. The game is over. Their job is done. They got to put a bow on this thing. And this is the conversation that they have as they're wrapping up the finality of the college football season.
Really bright. He's a faith-based guy. So is Will Howard. So is that Ohio State team. I was glad you asked about that because they talked so much about that and how much they leaned into faith. But then ultimately, because I had a coach who used to say the other team prays too. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It comes down to being able to do it on the field. And I think that's what impressed me most about Ohio State is they had a bunch of guys that could have left, right? The portal allows you to stay. And they're going to be well rewarded. They're going to be drafted high. But it seems that both faith in above and faith in one another is what got Ohio State through. As you talk to them, what do they share?
That was something Emeka Buka and I talked about this when I went to visit with Ryan Day and several of the players before the Tennessee game, a few days before that. And, what we hear a lot of times people talk about their faith and people sort of dismiss it. These guys were sharing their faith and reaching out and baptizing guys on campus, not just football teammates. And it became something powerful to them, not because they thought it was going to be handed to them to win a game, but it changed their relationships and it changed selfishness and made it go away. It was impactful for them. Didn't mean they were going to guarantee they were going to win. And Notre Dame had a lot of that going on as well. Of course, Marcus talked about that a lot this year, that it made guys selfless. And I think that's the power in it. It's not, some magical thing they're going to go down and hand you the trophy if you do it. It just helps you maybe relate to your teammates differently.
And isn't that interesting now in this era where like there's a ton of money out there. And by the way, the players ought to participate in it because they're making billions. 100%. You and I have always agreed about that. But in an era where you think, oh, this guy's just going there for money. Both these guys went there, and the portal quarterbacks, okay, they got their dough. Sure. But I think that to hear about the relationships that they have with one another and how that is forged, and then how you ultimately see it on the field. I think that's really a wonderful story to kind of offset the idea that everyone just goes somewhere because of money. Because I'll admit, I've been guilty of just saying you only go there for the dough. I think Ohio State, they kind of get it both ways because you get your money, which you earn, but then you get a whole hell of a lot more than that, which lasts far more than the dough.
That was such an amazing conversation for these individuals to have in the wake of what everybody's talking about. Oh, Ohio State's the biggest NIL school. And then someone's like, no, it's Oregon. I don't know who it ended up being.
It is Ohio State.
It is Ohio State. I've watched the NIL thing play out. It's weeded out good people from college football because they don't want to participate in the system that is in play right now. But I don't know that there is a different system. The money's coming in. And it's going to specific places, and the people who are the product, if they're not partaking in it, I can see why there's a bit of an issue there. I don't know what the solution is, and honestly, I don't care enough about the particular issue to worry about it. But what they're talking about there is having an organized and similar purpose. And when you see any sports team, especially a football team, you need to have every single individual, all 11 players need to know exactly what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. Now, you can do that in an instance in a sporting event where you come up and you show up, and this is the thing you have in common, the sport. Whatever it is you're playing, you have the sport in common. But you create a brotherhood or a sisterhood when you have something that is bigger than that intentional purpose of coming together and knowing the plays and understanding the processes that are being put in place. And wow, it is a whole different vibe to see Scott Van Pelt and Reese Davis there talking about this. They didn't have to talk about this. Nobody was telling them this. What was it? At halftime, Donald Trump delivered a message. ESPN aired it. I'm not saying that this is the ground zero for the culture war, but it was good that they did this. It was good that they had this conversation, and congratulations to everybody involved for ultimately knowing where their real victory lies.
That being acknowledged by ESPN, by people as big as Scott Van Pelt and Reese Davis, that shows that it's not just, us as believers that are recognizing this. Now, I'm not saying that we don't know if they're believers or not, but that goes to show that it is being recognized.
The message is being heard.
It is being, recognized.
Let's wrap up the show here real quick, Ethan, with the results to today's poll.
252 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll, which asks, should future inaugurations be held indoors? 67% say yes, 33% say no.
I'm surprised by that. I had no idea how this would shake out, but 2/3 of you think, yeah, that was pretty good. Maybe we do that again. Thank you for participating with us. Check out the Annie Frey Show podcast, either on the Odyssey app or at anniefreyshow.com/podcast. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, next.
Control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's